Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever you happen to be joining us from in the world. My name is Sean Stam, and I am joined from, well, he's from the West Coast, he's from the best coast. His name is Nicholas Hall, and this is a Stam Studio Network production, bringing you Sport Car Endurance Series live from Watkins, Glen, 11 turns, 3.3 mile track. Nick, how are you doing on this wonderful, wonderful evening tonight?
I'm really excited. Watkins Glen is one of the most beautiful tracks. You have such an amazing time here, and it's been one of the more consistent tracks in terms of since it's been built to today. There hasn't been many updates to it, so it's an awesome time to race one of the more historic tracks. I mean, you think about it across the racing world, any time that you hear Watkins Glen, you know it's going to be something amazing, and that's exactly what we have in store for tonight. 2-hour and 40-minute race. It's going to be a good one. We have 3 different classes, and I just can't wait to get down into this and start seeing these racers lay some rubber down on this track.
Going to be a great night. Nick, that's a lot of good things that you bring up. We will have to get going and discussing through the broadcast, but as we would like to open this broadcast up with thanking the new title sponsor to SCEL, of course, VRS, and the presenting sponsors, Advanced Sim Racing, Sync Mesh ATC, Middle of the Pack Racing, Positive Perception, AlienAwards.net, and of course, SimRacingNation.com. We will be getting with those sponsors and letting you know just what each one does through the broadcast. But looking at kind of our teams today, we're going to start with the GR86 class. Starting out with, you see Rapid Theft Esports, Steady State Speedworks, and Le Pit Club Racing in the top 3. Bear Pope Zero, NorCal Racing, Reagan Evolution, Rockefeller Sunday GT, Mad Sim Racing, Caboose Crew SCEL, and then rounding out 11th through 13th is Team FPS, Virginia Ridge Runner, and Razor Racing. Going up through TCR here, Nick, you want to walk us through?
We have the 2 breakfast for dinner teams in black taking first, silver taking second, with Mad Sim Racing rounding out the top 3. Darnell Autosport Development, Whip Racing, O2 Racing, and Pert rounding out the top 7, and then Wall Fanboys, E-Brake Boys, the Mad Sim Racing with Into the Apex podcast, and Slipstream Sloths rounding out all of our teams here in this division. And honestly, 11 teams with that close, it looks pretty competitive.
That it does. Looks like this is GT4 AM Class, Rockefeller Racing Purple, Send It Racing, Team Paddle-In, Break Fast Club, MK Motorsports, Eclipse Racing, V8 Vengeance, Gear 5, Mandem Track, CA Nerds, Emerald City Racing, and then rounding out our GT4 Pro with ITD West, Rockefeller Popcorn, Big Probola, Smooth Operators, Texas Speed Racing, Thank Esports Motorsports Sim Racing, powered by Bear, that is a long name, B&O, Beaver Moose, and Middle of the Pack, INH ITD. And looking at the points real quick before we take a look at the starting grid, which is now available. Here see these drivers getting to the grid, but here are the points going into Watkins. Looking at Rapid Theft, I believe these are the names that we just brought up, so just another a quick little glance at things before we get talking about the starting grid here.
Yeah, just a quick little overview of where we are. You can see the racers getting onto the grid right now, and leading us off in the GT4 TCR GR86 class is going to be Philip LaRoque in that number 22. Then rounding out that front row is going to be Ron Wolf from Thonk Esports Motorsport. In that number 9 machine coming in second. Milan Harrison, number 3rd. Kyle Bassett in 4th. Jaden Calloway and Daniel McDonald rounding out that 3rd row. In the 4th row, we have Preston L.E. and Andrew Trickett in that 4th row. And that's going to be our starting for the GR86, at least in the first 4 rows here this evening.
Yeah, that's GT4 class there. GR86 is actually, that's our third class here tonight. And Raymond
Yeah.
Tiu will be starting out on the pole in Toyota GR86. Andrew J. Sharp, Steven Ehrback in P3, Nick Beta, Joe Nagy, Blake Phillips, and Mark Senkel rounding out that top 7 spot. And then, Nick, we got a class kind of sandwiching the two classes here tonight. Got TCR, those Hyundais as well as Audis. David Bauer going to start from the lead spot in that class. Connor, John Lausen, Xavier Martin, Jason Jin, Roger Shank, Calvin Lance, Steve Brickford, and Mark Darnell rounding at the top 10 in that class. Oh, Nick Yakaboof there as well in TCR. We're finally, Nick, this is what we've been waiting for. We're rolling.
We're moving, and it's gonna feel good here to get started, as we're gonna enter what's called the 90 at Watkins Glen. It's the first turn on the racetrack, as we have a little bit of linkage, but nothing too crazy. It's banked slightly because between turn 11 and turn 1, you have the front stretch straightaway that you can pick up a decent amount of speed on. So banking it allows you to carry some speed through and allow you to then enter the S's. Obviously, this is where we're at right now, taking that moseying right-hander, slightly banked, allowing you to take just a little bit more speed, but not banked enough. It's not like a NASCAR track where you're looking at, 20 degrees bankment or anything like that. It's relatively mild. That only looked like maybe 3 or 4 degrees, but every little bit helps as you then enter into the back straight. Now, this is one of the differences on this track, right? We do have what's called the inner loop. It's an elongated chicane, slows you down as you then enter into the outer loop, and it's meant to just cut that speed. What happens a lot of times if you don't have these chicanes, you can carry way too much speed into some of these corners, and it's an unsafe entry. So the track started putting in these chicanes to help cut that out, because it's really important that these drivers are also safe in real life, and obviously we're emulating that as best as possible here. But once you exit the outer loop, you actually enter what's called the chute, because that's where you enter the boot.
Oh,
and they're entering the boot right now. So turns 6, 7, 8, and 9 are all part of what's called the boot, because it looks like a boot. Turn 7 is the toe, turn 8 obviously then the heel, if you think about it, and the straightaway from there is of course the bottom of the boot, like it's on the floor. And then it wraps you right back up, drops you right back down into 10 and 11. Of course, if you're just tuning in tonight for Watkins Glen, there has been some special instructions to the drivers for this track specifically, Sean, that for turn 11, that is also the entry for pit row. And with that, race control has directed the drivers to stick all the way to the right-hand side of the track. Obviously, this is a slightly more narrow track than some of the other places, and because of that, if you start to slow up at the wrong point and you're in the middle of the track, you can affect a lot of people behind you. So if you are entering the pit as a racer, it was requested that you please stick to the very far right of the track to slow down. There are pit entry lines that you need to stick within. You can see them
here,
coming up here, right here on our right. That yellow line, you need to be on the right-hand side of that line to slow down to enter the pit. If you do not do that, you will have a penalty against you.
All right, Nick, this is what we have been waiting for quite a few weeks' time. Green flag is out, and we are racing here at Watkins Glen Speedway, going little 2, little 3 wide action here into turn 1. This is Kyle Bassett, Ron Wolf, Philip Leclerc. Oh my gosh, we're going to make it stick somehow. Going back up the hill into turns 2 and 3 now. This is Ron Wolf, Felipe side by side, going up and through the S's into what will be our bus stop here tonight.
Ooh, looked like maybe a little bit of contact right there, but nothing too crazy coming out of that, as now we have
there's some contact.
Has been some contact.
Oh my
Been
goodness.
a little bit of contact as
oh no.
There's always bound to be some, right, Sean? Once you get 3 wide into some of these turns, it's gonna happen. It is just the law of iRacing. This is such a slim track Going three wide,
my
you're
God.
gonna make contact.
Definitely so. As we try to take a look and see what happens in this replay really quick. Um, oh my goodness. Okay. This is what I was scared of, but we're gonna keep things rolling. I'm gonna make a few adjustments. As this is already 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm seeing 6 drivers brought up in the timing and scoring involved on this incident here.
Yeah, and while we're handling some of the more technical issues, I can talk a little bit about what's going on tonight in terms of what to expect. For these racers, obviously, it's a 2-hour and 40-minute race. They have, let me find it here. There's a 32% chance of rain in the last 30 minutes of the race. So they have to keep that in mind. But the more important thing for the incident that we just saw, each driver has 2 fast repairs available to them, something to keep in mind for these drivers. Plus, there's also going to be a competition yellow at the hour and 40-minute mark. So with that, 2 minutes before the competition yellow comes out, pit rows will be closed. These drivers are going to have to plan a little bit of strategy around that and make sure that they are using not only their fast repairs, but that competition yellow to full advantage. Some of the more interesting things, of course, is whenever we have maybe a caution or a red flag come out, if it's a really bad accident or anything like that, and we have to do a full restart, the smallest gap between the classes will be anywhere between 5 and 10 seconds, though it could be longer, but probably won't be, just because it's not fun if it's all spread apart. Part of the fun of sports car racing is that you have traffic that you have to deal with. Some cars are faster than others, and you have also different classes within the class itself. You have the Pro-Am difference, and that's something that we'll have to keep in mind as well as we go through this. Every so often, we will do a quick rundown of the timings and where people are standing overall and within their class, because sometimes it can get a little bit wonky, and I know all the out there do want to keep a track of your favorite drivers this evening. So as we go through this, if you have any questions about what's going on in the race or anything like that, don't forget to drop them down in the YouTube chat. Shout out your favorite driver, who you're following this evening as well, because having all of that is super important. The drivers love to see it. They love to hear it. We love to give the shout outs on stream so that the drivers, when they come back and watch, they get a little bit of that as well.
Hanging on board there with Felipe is, looks like we have the technical difficulties once again sorted at the start of every SCEL race, and this is huge apologies from the director producer himself here. We get a little blinky action, but looks like we are back up and running here on STAM Studio Network. Appreciate you guys kind of tuning in and working through the differences here, as we missed just that opening lap or two. But here, Ron Wolf, Kyle Bissett, and Felipe Leclerc here are our top 3 leaders overall. David Bauer, looks like Connor back there, and Dakota Smith leading our TCR class, and then GR86 led by Rio Mintiu, Steven, and Austin in, actually that's Andrew J. Sharp. Austin losing a bit of spots there on, that's huge incident, lap 1, turn 1, excuse me, not turn 1, lap 1 of the race.
Yeah, it looked like it was as they were entering the S's, probably between 2 and 3, the accident occurred. Unfortunate timing for some of them, but overall, one thing that I like to keep an eye on, Sean, whenever we get into a booth together, is are we going to be handing out any pilot's licenses today? It is Watkins Glen. They don't quite have the same curb lift as some of the other tracks that we have been on in the past, but I'm already seeing a lot of curb taking happening, so it's something that for the ladies and gentlemen in the chat at home, get out your notebooks, because anytime you see it, you got to put a tick mark next to them, because after so many, we have to start handing these out.
Definitely so, and you know, a 3-hour long race, well, 2-hour 40-minute long race tonight, that can start to test the equipment as well as yourself. I mean, my goodness, as a driver, I know that we do have This is team racing here tonight, but lots of these teams opting to just stick with one driver here in the car. And that's something that we're going to have to keep an eye on. I know we do have 2 faster pairs, and just to get to a little bit more into the nitty-gritty of tonight, each class actually running with a different fuel count. GT4 is running with 69% fuel, TCRs with 53, and then GR86s with 48% fuel. So just something that we're going to have to keep our eye on, and I believe that league owner of Jason Landry doing that, so just so the cars are a little bit more separated when the pit window does open. And Nick, as you referenced, drivers, if you're listening too, make sure you get all the way to the right side of the track on pit entry, because penalties will be given if not.
Yeah, and it might be a 2-hour and 40-minute race, so you might think, oh, I have a lot of time to make that up, but these can get pretty tight at the end, and if you're fighting for one of these top positions, having one of those penalties can knock you down quite a bit. I was looking at it just a few minutes ago. If you pit during when the pit lane is closed, you have a 40-second penalty post race. That is a very, very long time that can bump you from first to last if it's a tight spacing in the group. So something that these drivers have to keep in mind is listening to race control and making sure that they they understand when pit lane is open, when it's closed, because that 40 seconds can make or break your race if you are not careful.
Already these drivers making their way around some TCR traffic, and here we have the lead for the race. Ron Wolf, Kyle Bassett here. That's that TCR of not sure. Oh, I think that's Felipe. No, Felipe! Sean and Tater Kirsch going to strike early here in Watkins Glen. Felipe going off the course. It's their turn 1. But back here to this lead battle of Ron and Kyle, separated by just under a second as working their way through that TCR traffic here. Man, we're only 8 minutes into this race, Nick, and we are already experiencing some lap traffic.
Yeah, and I'm, there's a little bit of a 2-wheel action coming through this the inner loop here. Every little inch matters, and they're trying to get their way through. You can see the Porsches, the McLarens, the Cadillacs, the Mercedes. I mean, they are all very tightly packed here. Trying to, that was a little bit of
TCR.
They're fully lost there. The TCR swinging all the way around.
I think that was Nick Yakubuff there. It was. You saw the rear of your screen. I'm kind of scared to cut to a replay right now, so we'll save that for when we absolutely need one. But Nick, maybe a little bit of contact, sending his 233 around.
Yeah, it just looked like he got loose entering the corner, was turning and braking, back wheels started to slide, and then he put too much gas on it and spun him right around, unfortunately.
So we're looking out the back bumper here of Justin Bragg, and he is up to P7. That's 4 spots gained on the race here today. Great run, great paint scheme for that BMW GT4. Trying to reel in Daniel McConnell there at front. And Daniel, he is up. Oh, he started 6th, but already made a couple moves here today, trying to reel in Adam J. Ballard up there in front. And let's ride on board with Daniel McConnell here into the tough, treacherous turn 1. Gonna make it kind of run that outer line, get on the rumble strips, and here we go back up the hill once again.
Yeah, I mean, you can see they're able to carry some decent speed through these S's, as that Texas machine really coming up onto the back there. Not quite able to find the opening just yet, but you can see they're right on that rear bumper, making of Adam, trying to find any little opening that they can, seeing if they can't force something there, dive up the inside, maybe the outside, you never know, with some of these cars and drivers. That was a little tap, sending them both wide, and that's going to be the Pandaspec car getting collided into the back end, as well as cars are having to go wide to try to avoid it and then duck back in just in the nick of time.
That's the producer cursed right there. Right when we cut to the leader of GR86, Stefan Sevengi, going to go around to present Joe Nagy out to the lead. And right now, yes, I am a little bit scared to cut to a replay, and we saw that kind of occur on the screen. So once again, gonna save a risk and reward for another day here. But looking at Nico Colby, he is now on the back of Mark Senkel. He is up, Nico Colby is up 14 spots already on today. We're only, what, 11 minutes into this race. I know Nico Colby racing the 86 Challenge Series here on the side of things, Warren Johnson. And man, that Jegs machine looking nice here up to P6 already.
Yeah, I mean, Nico Colby spends a lot of time in this sim. Has one of the cool rigs too, that motion rig that we always like to talk about, the motion rig, and they rock a stick shift, a proper H stick shift. And I absolutely love that because you don't see too many of those anymore. And I mean, I obviously don't know their exact age, but they look younger. And the fact that they're rocking that H stick, and I'm assuming they're rocking a clutch too. If you're rocking an H stick, you got to be rocking the clutch, right, Sean? I mean, you got to go all out with it.
Definitely.
And it's just so awesome to see that kind of skill level at that young of an age.
And keep it up. Driver of the 424, Nico Colby, looking good. Hopefully going to keep continuing to gain spots. Is looking at this battle now between Blake Frauser and Andrew Ellis. Blake Phillips and Stefan going at their own battle. Oh boy, here we go once again. Put on the shades, and that what we mentioned, that's first Daytona race that started to happen. There we go. It sorts itself out just like that.
Yeah, you know, it comes and goes.
It really does, but some side-by-side looks like from Andrew Ellis looking down the inside, going to make that move work on Blake Frauser. And that's, believe, yeah, Andrew Ellis is in, yeah, that whole different class, so battling down here with a little bit slower class cars making their way back up through the pack as we look at, once again, the overall lead of the race starting to heat up once again between Ron Wolf, Kyle Bassett, heading down into the last 3 turns here at Watkins Glen. Only 13 minutes in, 2 hours and 40-minute race. Nick, I know it's a little early, but is it already time for a little crank it up?
It's about that time, especially with this McLaren. I always love the sound of a good McLaren, I won't lie. I mean, who doesn't love a good McLaren, right? They always just sound so beautiful. And Kyle putting on a great race so far, moving up, not Kyle, Ron in that McLaren, moving up that one position after the excitement of that first lap. Hasn't let go of it since.
Matter of fact, is that? Oh, I thought that was Kyle Bassett making the move. That was just a slower class car going lap down. Goodness, I thought we were about to see something in the old static cam, but oh boy. Okay, we're heading into the bus stop here. Kyle Bassett just under half of a second back, and then Preston Lee. Well, maybe some pilot's licenses going. Look, he races for SRN, Sim Racing Nation Esports, and like to thank some of our sponsors real quick. Advanced Sim Racing, they have racing hardware right now, free shipping on orders over $100, and they make it known, no import fees, no tariffs on their equipment. Alienwords.net, custom-made sim racing trophies, plaques, medals, etc. Be sure to check those guys out. Got ATC, middle of the pack racing, Sim Racing Nation, excuse me. Sync Mesh, they got those racing gloves, Sim Racers apparel, and then of course the 86 Challenge League, not a verified sponsor for SCEL, but just like to shout them out as well because lots of cool things done behind the scenes as well as in that league too.
Always got to give thanks to the sponsors.
Is that Peppa Pig?
No, that's Dora the Explorer.
Oh my goodness. I think I made that mistake one too many times. The colors are so reminiscent.
They are. I mean, Peppa Pig is the new Dora, really, from what I understand. I haven't watched any Peppa Pig. I remember watching a little bit of Dora when I was younger, but I mean, back to, you know, you always got to thank the sponsors because they are what makes these leagues, these productions happen. So always thank you to them as, I mean, just look at we've been going for almost 16 minutes now, Sean, and it is still very tight up top in that GT4 class, and it's so good to see that there hasn't been these really long gaps that have started to appear in some of these classes even.
Oh my goodness! Did you see that GR86 about take the barrier out with them there on the entry of the bus stop? Nick, you see, yes, this is kind of the short track of road racing here, so it's super great to see all the battles going on as, man, classes are starting to get intermingled with one another. Real quick, I'd like to shout out to all you guys there in YouTube land sticking with us. We got 22 live viewers. We got Get Some Jay. Hello, fellow race fans. Hello to you too. Muima Fish 3, Go Team Breakfast, and as well as Strovich there in chat, saying everything looking good. Well, after that first lap, yes, looking good. But man, Nick, this is going to be such a fun race tonight. Everybody there in YouTube land, be sure to get your snacks, your drinks sorted out, because you're not going to want to leave the screen here for quite a little bit as Calvin Lance, Steven Wack, and Jason Jin. He's back here battling some Toyota GR86s. That's for 6th in his class, and then this is, I believe, yes, 8th in GR86.
Yeah, I mean, looking very good. After that, the first lap fiasco, everything is kind of cleaned up itself for the most part, and it's looking really good. Nice clean racing as we're looking at, almost looking up the inside there. Not quite making it happen just yet, as Calvin didn't quite have the opening that they needed to secure that. Or actually, it was Jason who was looking to make it onto Calvin, just barely ahead of them enough so they didn't have the opening required.
Yeah, man. Oh, you really have to set up the car coming to that last sector of the track. It's a really tough sort of section, and then especially on the short suit that you get there into turn 1, going to want to make sure you have the drive off. And man, Calvin Lance holding off Jason right now, but I wonder how long that this will kind of occur for. Jason Jin looking like he has some pace, and we can actually compare the lap times between the two. Oh man, Lynn totally in the green at last 5 laps.
Yeah, you can see in lap 5, it was just ever so slightly the thousandths of a second ahead, but it's been pretty consistent, half second to a second faster than that of Calvin Lance. So something to keep an eye on this battle is, because they're faster, there's still a lot of defensive driving that Calvin is having to do, and they're doing a great job of it so far, not giving the openings that that Jason needs to actually clinch that position and start to pull away from them on the front end with the faster lap times.
Alrighty, this is our battle for our second class here today, or I guess it's the TCR class. This is the two Hyundais of David Bauer and Connor going at it for the lead. And if this is one of the newer SCEL Sports Car Endurance League races that you guys have seen, I mean, David Bauer and Connor, although they're teammates, they have some of the most respectful, clean racing with one another. And David Bauer leading the class right now, but Connor's not too far behind. And the paint schemes are throwing me off there. That's a teammate of David Bauer in front of him, and then the door of the Explorer machine right on the back bumper of what is the battle for the lead in this class of Connor there. If you're the teammate here in front of David, is I believe going to get a name on that. Okay, anyway, if you're the teammate of David there, I wonder if you're going to race Connor just a little bit different if the teammate gets past you there, or just gonna kind of give the point by, but it's not looking like it for that. I believe that's breakfast. Yes, breakfast for dinner racing teammate of David Bauer.
For dinner, yeah. No, and it's always fun to watch the teammates battle, because early on in these races, it really is a team effort to pull people to the front, right? But what happens is, as you get later on in and you start to think about yourself a little bit more, That was a
Sorry.
straight through that chicane.
Yeah, that'll
And
be
that
a
was
slowdown.
almost, yeah, that's definitely a slowdown. Almost turned into an accident potentially. But what happened is the teammates, then they'll start to kind of duke it out a little bit more. And it's always fun to see.
It is fun to see as now David Bauer looking at down the inside of one of those GR86s as his teammates is now starting to pull the gap just a little bit, and I'm still trying to get a name on, is that John? It is John Mauser, there we go. Breakfast for dinner out of Canada, 7th in class, but looking like right now he's got more pace than the class leader, his teammate of David Bauer. Going back to the overall race lead, we got Ron Wolf, and now, get this, Nick, Preston Lee up to P2, and he is almost on the back bumper. Matter of fact, he is. Call him there, right on the back bumper of our overall race leader.
Yeah, that Porsche putting in a lot of work for Preston Lee there to get on the back bumper of that McLaren of Ron and see if they can't make an opening happen. You can see the braking for Preston is a lot later, so they're carrying a lot more speed through these corners than that of Ron, and they're using it to full advantage. You can see that there's windows starting to open up because of that, both on the inside and the outside, and it'll be interesting to see when they decide to take advantage of it and push their way through. Because any moment that could happen. Just look how close this Porsche is getting. They definitely have the speed through these corners, and really good defensive driving as well by this McLaren to close down some of them while still, having good race etiquette.
That's my biggest thing here is race etiquette. We're only 22 minutes into the race here, Nick, and I guess that's what separates the men from the boys. If I'm Ron, I'm giving the little point by here. I see you're faster, but no can do for Mr. Wolf, saying I'm going to keep leading laps out here in the Sports Car Endurance League, putting down, believe that is Mark Darnell, I believe, down a lap now. But anyways, I mean, goodness gracious, we got some open setups here tonight. Ron Wolf's car could be set up a little bit for what we're going through here. He could have a little bit less wing than, say, Preston Lee does, going to hurt him down the straightaways, but that's the sacrifice some of these drivers are willing to make, some of the teams willing to make, as that will help you in some of these mid-speed to slower corner sections. Man, look at the suspension work out of that SRN Esports Preston Lee Porsche GT4.
Yeah, I mean, typically the Porsches, Jason said it's actually fixed setups.
Yes.
Typically the Porsches do have better cornering than a lot of the other cars, just because of how they're engineered. And it's just, Porsche is synonymous with having excellent traction through corners that other cars don't quite have. So that's why you see this Porsche doing so well through the S's, through the boot, is that they have the car build for it. Obviously there is a BOP, so it's a little bit muted, but you can still see the essence of these cars coming through, as well as the skill of the drivers as well. As there's the look, it's gonna get shut down. Ron Wolf closing that door just as it opened. Preston Lee having to back off just that little bit extra to make sure they didn't clatter into the back end of that McLaren.
Little too close for comfort. Only 25 minutes into the race. This is McLaren versus Porsche here for the overall lead at Watkins Glen Raceway. Do not go anywhere. You're not going to want to miss a thing, as, oh my goodness, Preston Lee, this is just immaculate, first of all, defensive driving out of Ron Wolf, but Preston Lee, time and time again, tries to look down the inside. It is not there, and he's a beast on the brakes, able to get his GT4 Porsche slowed down and not make any contact here. Is trying to take a little bit wider line, get some momentum working for that GT4, working down the short, long straightaway into the bus stop. Preston Lee still within a car length or two, and Nick, if these drivers start playing with each other a bit too much, you got Kyle Bissett, Daniel McConnell right there to take advantage of the battle.
Yeah, they are right on that back end, trying to take advantage of what might happen. And they've caught up a little bit because of that. the interesting thing here is there's the defensive swerve again by Ron, just trying to put everything from that McLaren to keep this Porsche from going by, but they're not going to be able to keep it up for much longer, as this Porsche just has too much speed, it feels like. And as they go in, they go out, they go in. We're getting up into the right-hander here, up the inside.
Oh, no!
Porsche, not quite enough.
What a save!
Was doing some late trail braking, was able to save it, but now they've lost position. They might even lose the second spot. No, they're going to stop the Texas machine from getting in front of them. And now they are on the backside of Kyle Bassett there, seeing if they can't regain that position. Now, they did manage to pass them once before, but what a turn of events that was.
Just how fast things happen here up in the GT4 class. Kyle Bassett up to P2. Preston Lee loses the spot for P3. And here comes Daniel McConnell, Andrew Trickett, Justin Bragan. All of these drivers are within a second of one another. This is what you have come to see, not some disco balling. You have come to see some racing, and we are finally able to bring it to you live here as we'll hop on board with Andrew Trickett going up through the S's. I mean, the G-forces affecting you as a sim racing driver. It's not really there unless you're Nico Colby, but in that motion rig. But once again, a blanket over this battle for third through just about sixth on track.
Yeah, and something that, I mean, looking down now, we've spent a decent amount of time with this GT4 class. We're now going into the touring car. Look at the gap between David Bauer and Mark Darnell, and then back to Calvin Lance. This was a very tight-knit group of racers that has all of a sudden exploded into what is now a massive gap between the front two and everybody else. Now, granted, Nick and Xavier, they've been lapped by the lead cars, but what an explosion between the front two to the back rest of the pack of that grouping.
No kidding. And okay, if you're an avid iRacing fan or even iRacer yourself, you know, Nico Colby faking the inside. You know that's in these longer endurance races, in the iRacing official races, there are no cautions. There is no, there could be the biggest pile up into turn one that you've ever seen. There will not be a caution in road racing, local yellows. Here, with what Jason Landry has done in the Sports Car Endurance League, we will have a caution at the 1 hour and 40 minutes mark. And you best believe we're actually going to hear from Jason Landry himself, the league owner, right around that time. He'll be joining us up in the booth, telling us a bit more about his racing league, as well as maybe some of his racing experiences. We see him there in chat. Get some Jay saying, I love Watkins Glen, my all-time fave. Go Texas Speed. Jason Landry clarifying it is custom setups because of the fuel loads and the ride heights, but it's all worked into one another. Got Terry there in chat saying lots of cars. This is the biggest league that I broadcast for, and I think that's why we have some issues, but we are back rolling side by side. Coming to the toe of the boot here. This is Kyle Bassett for P3, trying to hold off Preston, still up here for P4 overall within class as well.
Yeah, looking really good as well. I mean, Ron Wolf, Kyle Bassett, Preston Lee, you can see just how tight these are. Even Daniel McConnell, a little bit in the mix themselves on the back there, but Preston Lee is trying to make a play again to get back into second and then catch back up to Ron up at the front, who had some excellent defensive driving and was able to ward off the attacks of Preston. Now, there is still a lot of racing left. We have 2 hours and 10 minutes of racing left, so it's not all done and dusted yet. We still have that competition yellow that's going to bunch this pack up once again through the middle-ish part of the race. But then after that, it's going to be back to full racing. And man, oh man, it's going to be some exciting times as we get near the finish. Because even now, these racers are vying for those positions. It's a 2 hour and 40 minute sprint that luckily you don't have to worry too much about the damage to your car, because you have those faster pairs, you have the competition yellow. But still, don't want to be giving up too much time to these leaders, because it will be hard to make up with how fast these cars are.
That it will, and Landry, or excuse me, Jason Landry has put something in place within the league. I believe these teams need to finish with at least 2 hours on the clock in order for their points to count. So I really applaud that rule. That's something I might actually have to take within my own leagues. That's man, excellent thinking there, Jason. As Nico Colby and Blake Phillips, we have not seen this battle leave our hands just yet here tonight. My goodness, great clean racing going on between Nico and Blake Phillips.
Yeah, it's looking great. I mean, up and down the I'm totally blanking on it. Up and down the lineup tonight. I mean, just great racing all around. There's battles all over the place. We've been following the top because it's just so tight up there, but look how tightly packed all of this is Kyle Bassett still having to fend off Preston Lee as they're going to go into the inside a little bit as they actually then swing back to the outside. Not quite able to make it happen, but battling through this portion here with all the traffic. It's going to slow you down. It's how do you handle it? That's going to test a lot of these drivers up in the GT4 class, in the touring car even, as you get amongst the GR86s, is how do you handle this traffic without slowing down too much? Because it is going to slow you down. It is a crazy time out there.
No kidding. Okay, real quick, we're going to take just... Actually, Nick, if you could go over our sponsors real quick. There's a quick change I need to make within the sim, so let's stick with us in our Studio Network.
We'll throw the sponsors up as we have Advanced Sim Racing as one of the potential presenting sponsors, not potential, presenting sponsors. I Can Talk, I Swear. Our title sponsors, of course, VRS. Another presenting sponsor is Sync Mesh for all of your racing glove needs. We have ATC, Middle of the Pack Racing, Positive Perception, AlienAwards.net, and of course, the all-important Sim Racing Nation. They're the ones who are also putting this on. It's absolutely amazing, or helping to put this on. Of course, we are in their Discord to help get SCEL off out of the pit lane and out onto the track.
All right, that was just a quick little commercial-free break, if you will, here on Stam Studio Network, bringing some functionality back into the broadcast here as we have, oh my, this battle for the lead in our overall class of GT4. I mean, I don't think you can get much better than this. Clean racing, respectful racing, and I mean, Preston Lee, he's still just under half a second back from Kyle Bassett, not able to make the move. Nick, at some point here, we're going to start getting into our fuel window, and at that point, this is what I love about fuel stops, as we ride on board with Daniel here. It is all how you get on and off of that pit exit and pit entry and exit, excuse me.
Now, I know that Jason came in before we went live on broadcast and rattled off some of the numbers that you took notes on for how long they were looking for each stint to take, as Philip looking for that opening instead actually drops into fourth and fifth place, even as Andrew Trickett and Daniel McConnell are going to take advantage of the little slip up there. But back to the timings here of how long Jason was wanting each stint to take. It's different for each class here this evening. And we'll start off with the Toyota GR86 class, and I think that was 40 minutes in length, if I'm not mistaken here, Sean?
I'm showing 48% GR86, which, yeah, just about, 40 to 55 minutes. TCR with that 53% mark. And then the GT4 class, 69%, which should be about 40 minutes of fuel. So definitely within the next 5 minutes should be starting to see our overall lead class start to make some pit stops. And man, with some endurance racing, this is what you factor in. you're going to factor in when that 4-course caution comes out that will happen at the 1 hour 40-minute mark. Oh, that is Rogers, I believe, around in the GT4 class. Oh, no, he towed it out of the alienawards.net. Should I risk us with a replay here, Nick?
I think we can do it. I think we can do it.
All right, if things blink out, this is...
Risk it for the biscuit.
Let's see what happens to Roger here.
That's like a trail braking. And then just gets squeezed off. Oh, yeah. A little too much. Tried to... lost the bumper there, even.
No, that wasn't Nico. That scared the...
No, that wasn't Nico.
That's Joe Nagy, I believe, who went around. Yes. No? Maybe so. Let's see. This is a separate incident into turn 1 here. Ooh! That's hard contact.
It was a little wide and actually goes into the brake fast car there, the brake fast machine of whoever was leading between those two. So unfortunate there as, well, we risked it for the biscuit.
Give us just a sec. It'll come back. Trust me.
Yeah, it's just iRacing doing iRacing things.
Also,
but now we're good.
Nick, we mentioned this in the pre-race. I believe I have like hail in the area tonight, and
yes, you do.
The lights did just flicker, so I forgot to mention this pre-race. If your broadcast starts to just stutter, it is not on your internet. My power and internet is actually flickered out, but that's just if it happens. The blinking here that you see, I do believe that is just due to car counts, but that'll be back under control. It sorts itself out. Nick, we risk it for the biscuit, but I guess lesson learned, huh?
Yeah, it happens.
Totally.
It's not the
apologies for that, guys.
On a broadcast, so it's fine. We're good. We're rolling. We got cars on the track, and that's all that matters. We got footage of the track.
Yes, that's sometimes you don't.
Yeah, exactly. Better to have cars on track than not on track. As we are coming up.
Oh, sorry.
Now on. We are coming up on the pit windows here shortly, opening up here. It'll be interesting to see who decides to take it early and who's going to wait until longer in the stint to make something happen.
Good call, buddy. Right on cue, man. 38th minute mark. Our leader of the race, Ron Wolf, now going to cycle out to the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and so on. Daniel McConnell. Oh, actually, before we go to that, Kyle Bassett, Andrew Trickett, Matthew Ronner coming down in the pits. All-American drivers here. So we have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 Canadian drivers. One of those drivers being Preston Lee, going to go for a slight overcut, maybe a lap or two. But Daniel McConnell, he will gain the race lead here with this extra lap or two. And Nick, you mentioned it earlier too. I know it's a bit earlier to be talking about it, but in the last 30 minutes of the race, 32% rain chances. Rain tires are available on all classes of cars that you see, so no broadcast delay, but we'll have to keep an eye on our weather and the radar, and maybe keep our eyes to the skies.
This isn't NASCAR. We race through the rain.
That's right.
That's why this is the superior racing.
Okay.
I love NASCAR, but it's got its place, and it's not in the rain, and I prefer rain racing too.
Yeah, that's fair.
Why got to stop for what's Mother Nature's giving us? But I mean, overall, like, these drivers are going to have to be aware of that as we get to the later stages of this race. But what I'm interested in is, of course, we saw Ron dip into the pits there. They're going to be on their way back out soon if they aren't already. They were probably using a lot of fuel in that battle with Preston, so I want to see if they're actually able to make it to that competition yellow, because if you think about it right now, we've just ticked over that 40-minute mark.
Good point,
that means they need to make it about 60 minutes to get to that competition yellow. And remember, for 2 minutes before that competition yellow starts, there is no pit lane action. It will be closed. You will take a penalty if you go in. So it is something that you have to keep in mind on your fuel, is if you need to pit before then, you have to do it before the 2 minute mark, that 2 minutes before mark. And at the same time, is your car actually going to be able to make it to that point, or are you going to have to also potentially pit then? And then you have to go, there's the math involved, race, and it gets really confusing. especially with some of the other races and how things are timed. But I don't think I didn't hear it from Jason. I haven't heard it from you. We don't have any mandatory minimum pit stop times, so we don't have to worry about that too much for this evening. But something that, at least fuel-wise, these drivers are going to have to keep in mind.
Totally. I know that. I mean, you talk about NASCAR. I like that you bring that up because that's where I kind of learned the old pit strategies from. And now that you know that caution comes out within an hour, looking back at the fuel times, GT4 going about 40 minutes. I don't think there's any way you can stretch that out. As Jason Landry saying, "Go team number 5." Yes, that is his driver, Justin, leading this race. But I mean, with all classes, it's we could get close with the GR86 class, maybe 55 minutes on a fuel tank there if you're saving. But I like how you kind of bring that up, as well as the pit lane closing 2 minutes beforehand as well. So if you are just on fumes, there's not going to be a chance of you making that strategy work, as that's going to be a pretty significant hold penalty. So there's a reason my major of choice here in college is not anything mathematically related, and we're looking at it now. Is here comes Justin into the pits. Little overcut action. Andrew.
Yes.
First,
Andrew.
Nick, before you start, I would like to mention Jason did an excellent job here. This is going to end up working out. All of our lead class GT4s, both Pro and Am, will cycle out with really no infringements on the pit stops regarding what am I trying to say here? Infringements from another class. There you go. Oh.
Yeah, there's not going to be like overlaps and things like that. Beautifully done by Jason to set all that up. Looks really great, and it allows some extra little, traffic situations to happen. It's a lot of fun. Jason, though, in the chat for YouTube did put out there that the pits are optional and tires are optional. It is all about fuel restriction this evening. That's what these racers are being tested on this evening.
Now, Nick, that's something else that you brought up in our production meeting. There goes Justin right out of Andrew, or right in front of Andrew Trickett, excuse me. He'll retain P5, actually P4 for the moment. Let's see where Ron Wolf cycled out to. Of course it is. It's the lead. So much speed for Ron Wolf and that number 9 machine and team. Justin's team coming out to P4, just mixing that. Daniel McConnell, I think he's the biggest winner in this fuel stop. He got on and off the pit road and pit exit just a little bit better than his competitors. He is now only 1.3 seconds back from the lead, and he has worked his way up. He is 4 spots up from the start of the race.
I mean, looking great here as we're going to follow Daniel here in second place, trying to catch up to Ron with Kyle just behind him. Preston's down in 7th right now, having to work their way back up after taking their fuel stop. But overall, I mean, they're looking good. They had a good first stint for all of these racers, very competitive. The big things that we really need to keep an eye on right now is, again, when are they taking their second pit stop? Because that's going to be most important. Obviously, you then have that competition yellow. Are they going to take advantage of that even and maybe grab a pit there so they can go longer and see? I would say right now their best bet from an armchair analyst, because that's essentially what I am, is trying to save a bit of fuel, get it to that competition yellow, pit during the yellow, and then try to hard push and take a pit between competition yellow and the end. But that's just my armchair analyst. These drivers are far superior in skill and mathematics than I am. I just get to talk over them and sound like I know what I'm talking about.
That it does. Raymond here leading the GR86 class, and the TCR class, my goodness, we are split up all throughout the field. believe Connor has now taken over that class lead over David Bauer, who is now 5 seconds back. And, a little scared to cut to the replay of how that happened, but David just getting a little loose there on corner exit, and Connor wrapping it around the middle and making that pass in the Dora machine. We're going to cut to a quick crank it up, give you some sights and sounds of the track, some engine noises with no commentators on you for about a minute or two. Stick with us here on STAM Studio Network. Crank it up. Alrighty, welcome back to STAM Studio Network. You can crank it back down. Sean Stam and Nicholas Hall up here in the booth, bringing you action live from Watkins Glen here tonight. Just a little bit under an hour until our yellow flag comes out, and just about that time until possibly some rain. Only 30% chance. I wouldn't bet on it. But Ron Wolf continuing to lead here tonight. Daniel McConnell P2. And then looking at TCR, Connor up in the lead, and then David Bauer in the pits now, P2, GR86, Raymond Tiu leading, Andrew Sharp, P2.
Yeah, I mean, looking really good right now across
our AM drivers.
The gaps.
Sorry, Nick.
Oh, yeah, we have our AM drivers.
Yeah, Adam J. Ballard and Matthew Roher here. Apologies for skipping those guys. I mean, Adam leading that AM class and Matthew there, P2. Sorry to cut you off, Nick. You got it now.
No, absolutely. I mean, we got to highlight our AM drivers, too. It's the drivers whose car numbers start with 100. So always got to shout out the AM drivers as well. Different class within the class and different expectations for them as well as we go through. So you can see this number 129 of Adam Ballard going to be one of the AM drivers this evening. Overall, I mean, this race has given us a lot to talk about, from the start with the crazy turns at turn one, or like it was like turn like 2 or 3 through the S's where we had the giant crash.
Yeah, giant.
Yeah, it was right there as they were coming up. Yeah, just everybody went sideways to an amazing battle up front between Ron and Preston. Preston's actually dropped back a bit more, which is interesting to see. He's dropped out of the top 8 of the GT4 class. So that's kind of surprising to see, considering the pace that they had earlier. And then the touring car going from tight gaps to now it's blown open even more, with Connor taking an almost 1 minute lead over David Bauer, who is just a few seconds behind him earlier, and now it's kind of just blown wide open once again. And then going down to the GR86s, we have Raymond and Andrew with about a 10-second gap between those two, and then it goes to Stephen and Steven that are almost 50 and 60 seconds behind them. So kind of crazy to see how the back one, the I won't call them back markers because they're not back markers. They're in their own race, essentially. Or they really are. But they are they're doing their, they have their own races, and they've just been blown wide open in their areas. But up front in our GT4 class, it is still ever so tight between them, and it's always great to see that you can see some really good driving there, but just
You can
also
see some not driving
crazy.
of Nico Colby. Look, he's making his way back.
Sometimes you
to
gotta
the
take a
ring.
bathroom break.
That
Sometimes you just gotta take a
happens.
bathroom break.
Especially up here in the booth. I guess that he knows how much time he had on the stop, and I'm trying to find Nico Colby in the standings here. I wonder if his teammates in. Warren Johnson. Oh, this is the league owner of 86 Challenge, Nick, that we do some
Nice,
broadcasting
yeah.
of. That's pretty cool. We got who else we got? It's a little blurry on my OBS screen, but you see the other names on the left side. Appreciate them.
And Andrew Sharp, John Lawson, and Kyle Bassett as well.
Yes, thank you guys. I so appreciate you guys using the driver cams here tonight, live from Watkins, Glen, the tough, treacherous 11-turn, 3.3-mile track. We're still keeping a close battle up on the lead overall, as well as every single class almost. But Ron Wolf, 1.5 seconds gap. I know I just did this not too long ago, but Connor, like you said, Nick, when we last did this, what seemed like a minute ago, my goodness, Connor David, that gap's now to 7 seconds from P1 to P2 in class. Cannot forget, once again, GT4 Am and Pro. This battle separated within less than a second. And then GR86 Raymond to you. Also, this battle for the lead is separated just by about 3 seconds.
Yeah, looking at YouTube chat right now with Nick Beta, they were in second in the GR86 class, but their PC froze.
Oh,
25 minutes in. That is always unfortunate. Sorry to hear that. They planned for the first pit at lap 25. Second pit 5 minutes before the competition yellow, and then also taking another 2 front tires then as well. In practice, their fronts were all below 60% at the second hour. So it's going to be, they're curious about to see what's going to happen. And that's huge insight for us, Nick, here on the desk to understand what these drivers might be dealing with. So thank you for throwing that in as well. And then, Sean, we have a question from Get Some about Ron and Daniel, and have they pitted? So we'll get that information for you just a quick second here, Get Some.
Yeah, Ron was one of our first drivers to pit, and he must have got the green light as we'll bring up the fuel strategy on the... No? The hell? Where is it? It's not coming up. Hang on. Bear with us here. There we go.
Like issues, it happens. There we go.
Yeah, Ron was one of the first drivers, so hopefully, I mean, well, nobody, I think, has enough fuel to make it to the next caution flag, so it's, I think what Ron did there, I actually like what say Justin did. He stayed out an extra lap or two. What this means, he is actually able to take less fuel this next stop. That will be less time in the pits, and could possibly, if he's able to keep the pace up here, gap some of these guys in the pits before that yellow flag comes out, keep the pace up, and then keep that spot. Also, Nick, to go back on something that you said earlier, how do I say it? Let me turn this off. Okay. Yes, Nick is right. NASCAR does not race on rain tires in iRacing, but we do have road course rain tires as well as short track oval rain tires now. iRacing is lacking on that, but real life, they're there, but you're right.
They're stepping up. They're stepping up.
Yes, you're right. Stepping up, but it's not just quite to where we are in endurance racing, multi-class racing, as well as some GT4 Am, Pro, TCR, and GR86. Once again, looking at the battle between Am, continuing to heat up. Adam J. Ballard, Matthew Roher here. Battle for Am and GT4.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're also going to welcome Jason up into the desk as well right now. It is time, yeah. I heard the ding of Discord saying that they have joined the desk, so welcome in, Jason. I do have one question to start us off here. Is you talked a little bit about it before the broadcast and what you were trying to accomplish with the fuel strategies. What are your thoughts on the tire strategies of some of these drivers this evening, especially with what Nick has put into the chat as well?
Well, first off, good evening, guys. It's nice to do one of these things. It's pretty fun. As far as tire strategies, it's interesting because the GR86, you have the tires take a long time to change. I think it's like 59 seconds or something like that. So you really want to be strategic with when you take them. You could potentially do the whole race without changing if you're really a good tire whisperer. But if it was me, I think I would change tires on the first stint, and then I would keep the set for the rest of the race afterwards. Because I think that with the competition yellow and stuff, it might be smarter to use that time beforehand, and then while everybody's going slow under the pit stop, you catch right back up, and then you get track position if they decided to change tires.
Strategy. I'm right there.
Yeah.
I like that.
And then TCR, you're basically just changing the front tires, so there's not too much time lost there. When you change, again, I probably change the fronts every pit stop, and then I don't think I would change the rear. I haven't driven TCR in a little while now, so I think the strategy is still just fronts only. And GT4 is pretty simple. It's a free tire change with the fuel loads, so I would change tires every single turn.
Interesting.
Appreciate you filling us in there. And man, how have you been feeling? I know that you haven't been behind the car tonight, but how have you been feeling watching your teammate Justin here drive up +7 spots since the start of the races? We're looking for a battle for the lead, but I mean, nice run for Justin there. Up to P4.
Yeah, absolutely. He's killing it right now. So we got lucky. The BMW was not a very good car last season, but we got a BOP adjustment with this new season that just came. So it helped us a lot. The only thing I would say is it kind of hurt our fuel economy, which was our bread and butter with the last season. Since we didn't have the pace, we just needed to save fuel. But to be honest, he saved 1 lap of extra fuel over almost the entire field. I think just Stephen Kelly did also 22 laps on his stint. So Justin is
the only 2 drivers that were able to make that work.
So Justin's doing an excellent job using the other car's speed and hanging with them and saving fuel. So yeah, like to be only 2.3 seconds off the lead right now is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely wonderful to see that. And it's always interesting. I of course come from like GT7, and I mean, I hop into my BMW and do a few laps at Le Mans. I love the sound of it, but it definitely handles a lot different than a lot of the other cars in a similar class. In this similar class, so it's always interesting. You know, the Mercedes with that massive front engine as well. Always interesting. You can always spot them out. And each car has its own unique feel as well as you go racing. So it's interesting that whenever these drivers, especially as you're talking, like you select your car and you really fine tune it across these tracks. You become one with it and can really take a lot of learning experiences and really push the car to the limits. And it's always awesome to see that, especially in the later stages of the season, whenever you can really see the culmination of all of that learning come to light. And it's always just amazing to see.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the way iRacing has the setups and their POPs currently. The GT4 and the TCR field are some of the closest in all of iRacing. So we got really lucky, and it's fun because each car has their, like you said, their individual personalities. So when we started with this series, we wanted to have a field that's as equal as possible. So we did a draft, like it was voluntary, but it was a draft night so that we could try to get teams pick different cars. So if they decided they wanted, let's say Mercedes was their first pick, but their car number came up as, we'll say 20th in the list to pick, and the Mercedes were gone. Well, then they had to choose something different. So we really tried to get much diversity on the field. And because of the BOP, nobody wanted the BMW, but otherwise, the diversity of the field that we currently have, even TCR and GT4 is really good. So it's really fun to see.
Yeah, I mean, you can see just here looking at the GT4 class, you have McLaren, Aston, BMW, Mercedes, McLaren, Mercedes, Porsche. And that just shows how tight these packs are, especially with the timings as well. Now, obviously, you drop down to the T. The gap between Connor and David has a bit down to now 6 seconds from what it was almost a minute earlier, which is good to see. But it's definitely like one lap for everybody else. And then in the GR86s, obviously, you can't have any diversity there because it is specifically a Toyota class, but that's really where the skill of the drivers stand out in terms of their understanding of the car, the limits of the car, and what they're able to do with it in traffic and such, because they are the slowest car on the track right now, and how you manage that is so important and really shows off your skill as a driver in these sports car scenarios and these multi-class scenarios where you have all these much faster cars around you, and where you put your car matters. You're never really going to have the priority of the racing line like some of these other cars should have. So it's how are you able to maneuver your car offline that becomes doubly and triply important as someone who is in maybe the GT4 or the TCR that has a little bit more priority on that racing line.
Yeah, absolutely. It's especially difficult because if you drive these cars a lot, you'll see the GT4, because they have so much more speed, they have to brake much earlier than TCR, and TCR can brake much later. So you really need to have car overlap if you want to try to make a pass, clean pass. And it goes the same with the GR86. GR86, because they have less speed, they can brake so much later. So for example, on turn 1, the GT4 are braking around the 300 meter mark. The TCR are braking around the 250, 225 mark. And then the GR86 is braking closer to the 125, 150 mark. So they are braking much later. So you really need to have that car overlap. And as I tend to like driving the slower classes, I'm not doing it here in this series, but normally I like driving slower classes, and it's really a fine art of like, I really enjoy letting other cars pass in a strategic way where it really doesn't slow me down at all. So typically what I'll do is I'll lift much earlier than everybody. I'll save that fuel. I'll let them get ahead of me before the apex so that I can turn in for the apex and then get on the gas and get a much better exit and use their draft to get along. So you can really use other cars to, 1, save fuel, and 2, to minimize your time loss as much as possible. Obviously it's different when there's multiple cars coming at you, but the multi-class is so much fun trying to get that strategic. It's like a big chess game. It's fun.
Chess at 200 plus miles an hour. Is what I like to say, because it really is. The inches between cars as you go sometimes 3 wide through some of these turns, and especially when you get like on Watkins Glen, you go through the S's. I mean, we saw it on turn 1, right, where they went 3 wide, and then it was just chaos and pandemonium because the slight little miscues, and you start going into one another, and it is totally gone from there. So you're absolutely right when it's chess, except that you're going at 200 miles an hour, and it's not just you at stake, it's everybody else at stake too.
Yeah, that big crash at the S's on lap, I think it was 1 or 2, that was unfortunate. So it really split up the field for TCR and GR86 a lot. So you can see GT4 is really close fighting up front. Daniel, to be honest, is really impressive. I have a strong feeling he might be winning the race, but we'll see. It's still a long way to go. TCR, there are some really fast drivers. I know John is really good on fuel. So he's not out of the race. He might be a lap down, but I wouldn't count him out of the race quite yet. there's some other drivers that are quite fast. I see Jason Lynn is a little bit further back than where he was earlier. So I'm not sure what happened there.
I know that he had, I think he spun or something. He had to go in for a pit, I think, early on to do some fixing.
Oh, okay. So a lot of the TCR guys are from the ATC League, which is a very competitive league. They do open sets, but Logan McKenzie, who didn't sign up for the series, but he's an amazing TCR driver, and he runs a really good series on Monday nights. He's one of our sponsors for the TCR class. So I just want to give him a shout out. And a lot of these drivers are from that league, so they're really no joke. They're really fast TCR drivers.
It's always fun to see that the crossover of the leagues, especially in this kind of scenario, as they then also get to do this multi-class racing as well as in their TCR league. Is look at this battle up here. There's 5 cars going 3 wide down this back stretch here, going into the inner loop. As that is the speed difference there of Ron coming up from the back, swinging out wide, and then being able to pass them. What a concentrated portion there of all of these cars that could turn out very badly if you're not careful.
Yeah, what amazing drivers. Like these guys, I do drivers reports for incidents and stuff like that, but there's really so minimal incidents for such a big field and such a long race. I'm really impressed by the fairness and the respect that all these cars are really putting together.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it all night long. There's only been a few.
Real quick, before we get too far off the topic of multi-class racing, oh man, I was biting my tongue when you were mentioning speed differentials. Nick, you know this. I run my own league. Just like to say this real quick. GT4 versus NASCAR will be at Canadian Tire this weekend. Quick 25-minute race. League ID 10931. All GT4 versus NASCAR Class A, B, and C. The pace is damn near identical. So if that's something you'd enjoy, come show us out.
Interesting.
Once again, this is guys, the league owner here, Jason Landry. I appreciate you joining us here, and stick with us as long as you want. We got a battle side by side for overall lead. Daniel McConnell, Ron Wolf.
Yeah, these two guys. I think Ron's been leading almost the entire race, and you can just see Daniel coming one by one, closer, picking everybody off, and here he is, up in the lead.
Yeah, and it's Getsum in the YouTube chat a little while ago said that his daily driver for Daniel, I'm assuming it's Daniel Getsum, correct me if I'm wrong, but Daniel McConnell's daily driver is a C7 Corvette, which does handle similarly to an Aston. So, I mean, awesome. You can see just the comfortability in this type of car and what they're able to pull off of it. And it's because of their daily driver as well. You just got a feel and a handle for how it goes. Yes, it's, real life to this, but still, I mean, tons of skill here on display between all of our drivers this evening.
Hometown Crumb, Jason, Nick, or even in YouTube land, where in the hell is Crumb?
That is a very good
with
question.
With all due respect.
We're gonna ask our overlords Google to find out where that might be.
Crumb, Texas.
Oh, it's gotta be
Texas. Texas. I mean, it makes sense. Okay, I want to know exactly.
Is it west?
Near Fort Worth?
Really? Okay.
Oh, okay. I should have known this.
Daniel,
I should have known this because that's where my family is from.
Okay. Some Texas Motor Speedway action up there in Fort Worth. Daniel McConnell out to the lead, looking good at the 1 hour mark. 1 hour, 10 minute mark, excuse me.
I mean, they've slowly been working their way up. From the middle of the pack of the GT4 class up to the front, and it's just been a slow, steady, quiet race, which is exactly what you want out of your race, right? You don't want a lot of high intensity action. You want it to be slow, steady, work your way up, don't have any incidences, don't have any close calls, just nice, clean racing, and that's what we've been seeing from Daniel so far as they've finally overtaken Ron here. Just great job.
Yeah, it's definitely not over either because Ron is keeping up with it,
No.
no problem. This point 2, he's keeping right into that draft. He may be sipping some fuel because that McLaren's a little thirsty. So that might play into his favor a little bit later.
Especially, I mean, we're now 29 minutes until that mandatory caution flag comes out. Not Warren, Jason, I kind of referenced it earlier. This is what's going to kind of make or break the strategy. I don't think any car class today has enough fuel to make it to that caution flag when it comes out, when everybody pits just about 20 minutes ago in each class. So it's going to be interesting to see, and especially like your teammates, man. He's going to need less fuel. He could cycle out even to the lead after this pit stop cycle and the mandatory yellow flag. It'll be really fun to watch.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting after it. I think GT4 are going to be forced to pit. TCR, it'll be close. And GR86, I think if you pit during the safety car and not before, you might be able to make it. So the strategy is going to be very interesting. Especially Justin's did 2 laps more than these guys who are leading currently. So that's a lot of fuel that he's going to be saving.
No kidding.
So I am really interested to see after that safety car if there's a splash and dash that's needed. I think that might play in our favor. Like, I don't think he needs me to drive anymore, really.
Yeah, I mean, and
we're going side by side here. Sorry.
The S's. No, I mean, this is what we came here for. And it's interesting. Mar in chat brings up something interesting that's actually happening near me. Is the 11th to the 13th of this month, next weekend, is actually the Long Beach Grand Prix, real life racing, where you get to see a lot of these similar cars go out and go wheel to wheel just on the streets of Long Beach, which is always awesome to see, and definitely something that if you're in the area should definitely check out, because anytime you get to check out real racing, it's always an awesome experience.
Yeah, so speaking of Long Beach, there's a very high possibility. I haven't put the season together fully for season 2 yet, but we're definitely looking at it in a street course. And since we're following a lot of what IMSA does, the options are between Detroit and Long Beach, and there's a high chance that it will probably be Long Beach.
It's such a great track that they build out here. It's always fun to watch. I mean, they do IndyCar with it. The sports car with it. They do an excellent job of putting it together. And I think Rex, the AIO racing team, is going to be out here as well for it. I think the Rexy car's out, so that's super exciting to see as well. I have to say, they've done an excellent marketing job with their cars, 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. So it looks like Daniel is pulling a bit of a gap now from Ron Wolf. So that's I don't kind of expect to see that. There must maybe some traffic involved, but he's definitely pulling a gap out.
I would be interested to see what the tire wear is like on the McLaren, because Ron Wolf has been putting rubber down and really playing a lot of defense while they've been driving against earlier against, I'm blanking on the name off the top of my head, but against Daniel and Preston. Thank you, Sean. They've been having to do a lot of defensive driving, which is very hard on the tires. And like you said, the McLaren's also thirsty. I'm curious about what kind of wear they've put onto their tires, that maybe it's just a potential tire wear issue for them, that they need to maybe put some new tires on.
Yeah, it's possible that he didn't change tires in the first stint either. Because the GT4, you can get away without changing tires if you don't want to. It is a free pit stop due to the length of the pit stop to change tires. But sometimes it's just nicer to have hot tires on rather than getting cold tires, because the first couple laps with cold tires, you lose a little bit of time. So maybe he just left older tires on, and now they're starting to fade away from him.
It seems like that could be what's causing it. I mean, we won't ever truly know until, unless we actually get a chance to talk with them. But as we take a look at some of the other pieces along the track. You can see Xavier Martin dueling it out right now for the 7th position in the GR86 class, was it? Or were they in
TCR?
TCR. I was looking, I was like, that's not a GR86 I'm talking, because I'm looking at the Audi logo going on in my brain. But after a while, they blend in a little bit together because but no, they're doing a great job through here. And you know what I haven't seen a lot of? One, we haven't seen a lot of pilots' licenses needing to be handed out, and we haven't seen a lot of off-track action either. These drivers are excellent at staying on the track and making sure that they are on as much as possible.
Yeah, they don't have too many off tracks to use up. We have a limit at 24 before they get a drive through, so you really have to be careful with the off tracks.
Did you say that's only a 24 incident limit count?
That's correct. Yeah, there's only 24x before you get a drive through, so you definitely have to be very careful with a 2-hour and 40-minute race.
No, you got me
One
feeling
every
like
10
I'm
minutes.
running back in like an iRacing official race, which I do respect. Keep it clean, but it's hard to do. And even a 40-minute race, a 4x here, a couple off tracks there, and you're looking at being within right up in that limit. But I do appreciate that, and even you stretching the different fuel strategies out to keep the fuel stops different. It's the little things like that kind of come together and make a league. Jason, you've done extremely well. I gotta do only one thing, and that's applaud you.
I appreciate that, guys. And I think I'm going to step out for now, but I'll be back after. I'm going to go do some race control since the safety car is coming in, I think, 17 minutes or so.
Fair enough, man. Alrighty, best of luck to you, and hopefully we're talking with you once again as now Ron Wolf into the pits. Hopefully we're talking with you once again before the end of the race.
Yeah, sounds good. I'll come back with, I don't know, probably about 30 minutes to go.
Oh, there you go. Appreciate you, Jason. How about, Nick, how about Ron Wolf's little profile picture there? It's a very descriptive little, I don't know, but I like it. I think Ron Wolf and Daniel McConnell going to be our overall ones to watch here today in the GT4 Pro class. GT4 AM now separated between, last time we saw about a little, I thought it was within a second, now it's within 30, so. Oh,
I had to pull a little bit of a Nico Colby here and took a restroom break myself really quick, but I'm back now. And yeah, I mean, there's some great racing going on. Absolutely.
I don't blame you. Nick, welcome back. Jason is, since he's going to have to go do some race control stuff here this caution, but he'll be back with us within the last 30 minutes, as we are now just about 20 minutes to go until, I believe, until that caution comes out. Correct me if I'm wrong in YouTube chat. While we have a chance here, where did my piece of paper go? Hang on. Oh, no. Oh. Here we go.
Well, he's looking for his piece. Oh,
No,
he found
I
it. Okay.
I found it. While we have a chance, I would like to thank. Also, thanks for being quick to save me there, Nick. Once again, Advanced Sim Racing. That's some iRacing hardware. They got some pedals, some steering wheel bases, as well as steering wheels themselves. Free shipping on orders over $100 right now. AlienAwards.net. Custom-made sim racing trophies, plaques, medals, etc. ATC, you heard Jason shout them out earlier. Middle of the pack racing, simracingnation.com, Sync Mesh, get you some new gloves, etc. As well as, once again, 86 Challenge, shouting them out as not a sponsor, but a fellow league and racers that are racing tonight. Kyle Bissett, Daniel McConnell, Andrew Trickett, all into the pits here. That's going to, once again, Nick, we saw this earlier in this class. Justin's going to get a whole nother lap or two on this fuel tank.
Yeah, he's done a really good job with it, and this BMW of just getting all of the fuel that they can. Great saving on it, and now it's, can they actually hold out? Obviously, it's a minute. It's an hour 20, which means we only have an hour 20 left in the race. 20 minutes till we hit that competition yellow. So we'll have to see. From what we saw out of stint 1, they're not going to make it to the competition yellow in stint 2. So I'm assuming they're either, I mean, here's a couple of options, right, Sean? They can get the fuel now and hard push their tires and then do like a tire stop during the competition yellow so they don't lose as much time on track while also getting fresh tires for the second part of this race. Or they just say, we don't need the tires, we'll just ride out the competition yellow on track. But I would hope that, from what we've heard from Jason, from what we've heard from Nick in the YouTube chat, tires at some point is probably a good idea, especially since we've seen Ron's tires give up a little bit on them. They've dropped back. So it's something that we'll have to keep in mind and keep an eye on for some of these drivers. Is right now we're looking at David Bauer, team breakfast for dinner, as they are holding off this Mercedes.
Oh, not for long, though.
They're going to go wide, barely going to hold it on as they swing back through. I think they're in the boot right now, if I'm understanding this properly.
It's either the heel or the toe, one or the other.
9. I think that's turn 9 there, coming into turn 10. No. That's the left. That's the heel right there. Heel. They're going to come up into 9 right now, basically the top of the boot, and then over into 10 because 10's a left-hander.
Here comes Austin. He made the inside stick.
Oh no, this is
nice
11.
work. Yeah, no, that's not 11 just yet. We got 2 more turns to go, so this is 9.
Oh,
I believe. It'll sneak up on you though.
8 is a right-hander. 9 is the left. 10 is a left.
You'd think
it's just.
Back of the hand is
we
know
looking
this
at the track so long.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh my!
I have it up on my third monitor, and I still can't figure it out while looking at what they're doing.
I've done one too many races here myself, and it still gets a little. Oh man, especially behind the wheel, you start getting a little. Oh, apologies if you heard. If you heard that in the background, that was my GTA text tone. But regardless, Justin Bragan, he should. Is this an extra 2 laps? Let's see on coming.
It looks like it.
Yeah, because he stayed out quite a bit. Oh, here's the right graphic. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean, he's doing well. You can also see Ballard hasn't pit either. Adam Ballard, who's a minute 29 back. That's going to be another lap coming out for Justin Bragan there in that BMW number 5, putting down some very good rubber considering, where they are and how much fuel they've been burning. Like, this is great driving from them. Only a 45-second gap to Ron, who's essentially running first.
Yeah,
when
that'll
you actually
cycle
think
out.
about. Yeah, you have to think about cycles right now because we have these weird pit things going on. Justin Bragan might technically be first right now, but the true leader of the race right now is Ron Wolf. They've already taken their pit. They're in first position. Everybody else behind them has pretty much pitted except for Adam Ballard back there as well. So when Justin Bragan drops down into the pit there and gets their fuel and whatever else they want to do, it's going to be Ron Wolf cycling into that first position. So effective leader is Ron Wolf currently.
I mean, yes, essentially that is what's going to happen. But will it, though? I mean, that's a 45-second gap. If you're Justin here...
It's going to be close. I think you're going to see about a 15-second gap between Ron and Justin at the end of it.
Also... the whole second half of this thing, Nick, I'm thinking in the short run here, but even if you're Justin, sure, that's less fuel that you'll have to take. But, well, I'm trying to
I mean, you still have the competition yellow you have to go through. So, I mean, you're not going to burn as much during the competition yellow, but you're still going to be burning fuel at a slower pace that you have to keep a little bit of a track of in your head. Plus, you don't have enough fuel to make it to the end of the race. I do not foresee this BMW, even on a fuel tank, a full tank coming out of the competition yellow. If they pit during the competition yellow, as we see pitting now, I don't think they'd have enough fuel to make it all the way to the end. I think we're going to see one more pit stop out of these GT4 class cars, and that's going to be the true deciding factor of who's going to be in first place at the end of the race. You can see that Mercedes also, yeah, they're taking it looks like tires as well as they go up on those air jacks.
Definitely so. This is what's going to pretty much determine, because yeah, you got to come back down during the yellow and get the fuel for hopefully what will be all the way, if not just a quick splash. But we're gonna stick on with Justin here. Ron Wolf, he really hasn't made up the gap at all. He's now at 30 seconds back. So, never mind. My timing software lied. Okay, here comes Ron Wolf to take the lead. Justin, he's off the air jacks. There goes the tire smoke. He is now on his way. Ron Wolf and Andrew Trickett going to take that spot, but as well as Daniel McConnell. I still don't hate that strategy call.
No, I think it's a good one. And he's about 15 seconds back, yeah.
And side by side with Daniel here for P3 overall, with a little bit lower.
He's not going to have this speed on Daniel.
Nah, not yet, with the lower pressures and temperatures in that GT4, but give it a lap or two, and I think we'll see Justin, even though with Daniel with so much pace, yes, looking out the outside of the bus stop, not quite close enough to make the move, but we're going to have to keep an eye on this battle, especially as closer as that yellow flag comes out. Real quick, let's cut down to Warren Johnson. This is a battle for Toyota GR86 cars separated by less than 0.2 of a second each.
And you love to see it. I mean, this is an amazing battle here for what looks to be sixth position actually, excuse me, as they race through this. Obviously, these are all the same cars, same setups. It's about the skill of the drivers right now and how comfortable they are in cars as they get through. So you can see one of them go wide there
Warren
over
there
the curve and out.
That's going to present
A little
Stefan to take the
unfortunate.
spot. Here comes Mark into the pits, but yeah, unfortunate for Warren there. Going to run wide in the green and white Jegs machine. He's going to lose 2 spots to Stefan and Patrick Stein. Going to be P8 overall. Nico Colby, his teammate.
Yeah, I mean, and that just comes from the pressure of racing, right? Like,
Totally.
you get pressured on the back end, you make that mistake, they're going to punish you for it. Now you have to mentally come back from that and say, yep, I did that. Let's get back out there and push forward. And it's one of the hardest pieces of racing. You cannot give up. There's still an hour and 10 minutes left of this race, and it happen.
While we have a quick moment before the yellow flag comes out in about 12 minutes time.
Ooh.
That's, okay, hold on off on that. Stefan going a little bit wide. That's
And that means that Patrick Stein's going to take advantage of it.
Yes, on the outside. Gonna have the inside of the next corner, but we're still side by side. Does Patrick have that enough momentum, to make the inside work? He does. That'll stick, and here comes Warren Johnson down.
Warren's going to ride that along there, too.
Yeah, taking some notes from
Not
Patrick.
going to quite be able to make that stick, but also with Ron Wolf on the outside there, or the inside there, it's getting a little bit hairy with the
That
fast
was
cars
tight.
around, too.
Okay, now that has settled down just a moment, as Steven and Warren, our closest battle on track, we'll keep a track of here. While we have a moment, Nick, what's the company name again? Tex?
10X Studios.
10X Studios. Man, how has that been going for you? It's still battling, but how's that been going for you?
Going
Especially
good.
behind the scenes. I know just how much it takes on a producer and director's side. You getting enough sleep over
I mean,
there?
yeah. Oh, there's always time for sleep whenever you're dead, but no, it's
It's
been great. We deal in other. We're gonna make our way into iRacing here very, very soon.
Yes.
I'm just waiting on a few more pieces to come in, and then you'll any league owners out there that are production. Custom productions, doesn't matter, more than welcome to DM me about them, and we can make something happen, because iRacing is our next game that we want to expand into. We already deal with most of the person shooters, several of the MOBAs. We're moving into rival, so we've got a lot on our plate, but we love doing iRacing here, and anytime that somebody wants production, we're more than willing to make it happen. Work within it.
You heard it here first, guys. Get with 10X Studios. Nicholas Hall going to get within some iRacing here soon. He's you know, oh man, there's not tires getting off the ground just yet. But anyways,
It's close.
I would give you, honestly, I mean, I definitely haven't been the best producer in all honesty for SCEL. Had a little bit of hiccups here and there, but if I were to give somebody producer of the year, it would honestly be you there, Nicholas. So I know you haven't
That's
done
much appreciated.
yeah, not much iRacing yet, but it's on the way. And from what I've seen on the other side of things, you do a great job. It's so much work behind the scenes. People might just not get it, but it goes pretty deep.
It can, yeah. I mean, I don't just do all the fancy graphics. I build out backends for broadcasts as well. So it doesn't matter the size of the broadcast. You know, be one of the largest iRacing leagues out there, and we'll take it on. Build out a very customized piece of broadcasting packages for you. Doesn't matter what, we can make it happen. Just of course, more time. You know, I can't do it overnight. It does.
Oh,
but it's
oh yeah.
And I enjoy doing it. I do it full time. I'm here to tell the stories of these amazing racers, amazing players, and make sure that their stories are seen by the masses.
Speaking of seen by the masses, little disco ball effects. Once again, look at that. It's like magic. It'll, I think what happened here, we'll go back up to the leader, then it sorts itself out. That's what I've learned. But once again, shout out to NAC Studios, Nicholas Hall, especially for spending, 2.5, 3 hours with us. And especially, man, any of you there in YouTube land, we know there is so much better on TV going on right now, but for you to be cheering on your friends, family members, or even us here up in the booth or behind the scenes, it's seriously shouting you guys all out. We could not do this without you, as well as the sponsors. Our new primary sponsor of Sports Car Endurance League, Virtual Racing School. They have a deal of their own going on right now. Setups, hardware, etc. You name it, get with them. Oh boy, Nicholas, okay, about 7 minutes until this full course caution comes out. We're seeing some more pit strategies start to take place. I'll pull it up on the right side of the screen here. Ron Wolf, Andrew Trickett, and Daniel McConnell about similar, and then we got Justin Bragan, who is, I really feel like, Nick, this is going to come in play late in the race. If he's able to take even less fuel or just cycle out to the lead on just even this next full course yellow stop, keep your eye, everybody, on this number 5 car. Teammates, the league owner, Jason Landry. There you go.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be between Ron, Andrew, Daniel, and I'm blanking on the name right now off the top of my head. Wow. My brain just decided you're not going to work right now.
See, it's funny when that happens to somebody else, but not yourself. There's so much that runs through our heads here behind the scenes, and even though, Nick, I'm probably talking right now and you trying to grasp the name, and it's not helping, but just I'm trying to help in the facts that, man, there's so much going on. It's hard to keep track of every little thing, and that's why we have you guys here in YouTube chat. You are the directors of the show. Feel free, if the audio levels aren't just right, or if you want to see a driver, or, I mean, obviously we have blinking here. Oh, come on. Stick with us. Come on. Fix yourself. Come on.
Justin. That's the name, Justin.
Justin, there you go. Hey, right when you said, oh, okay. Anything but the blinking we will be able to fix, and I feel like right now, let's take a quick commercial break, try and sort this out.
You're not playing actually any there you go.
Okay, we're gonna skip that and cut back to the driver cams because oh, I thought I had fixed. Okay, what in the heck? Come on. Okay, maybe we will go to commercial break. Maybe yeah, we will. Okay, we'll be right back.
Yeah, let's go commercials. We'll be right. Yeah.
Alrighty, look at that. Just like magic, we are bringing you action live once again. If you're just now joining us, this tends to happen in this league. It really is, Nicholas. I do think it's just the car counts. Even though I've toned it down within iRacing settings, it's oh man, I wouldn't doubt honestly if Jason doesn't bring us back. But if you're able to stick with a few blinks here and there, it might just be worth that affordable price point. No, I'm just kidding. In all seriousness, though, Adam J. Ballard, Braden Melling coming down pit road in this is both AM class. So these guys been running nose to tail so far in the GT4 AM class. Andrew Trickett will attain the lead as we have 3 minutes to go. Nick, the pits are closing within 1 minute. Caution flag coming out within the next 3.
Yep, we're gonna have to keep an eye on. Remember, no pits within 2 minutes of that competition yellow. Now the pits will open during the competition yellow, so we'll have to keep an eye out or an ear out for race control to know when it's closed, when it's open, and what these drivers decide to do and when they decide to do it. So right now with Andrew Trickett actually in the lead of the GT4 class. Interesting there.
Same strategy as Daniel in P2.
Yeah, very interesting strategies all around. As I'm surprised by the early dive into the pits by some of our GT4 drivers.
A little early. Maybe they were just a little bit light on fuel, or it's at the point where it could be any which way with just 2 minutes to go. Believe pits should be now closed. So here we go. Austin, Mark Darnell and Andrew M. Ellis should be our last drivers making their way off of the pit road, as now it is closed. Should be seeing a full course caution within the next lap or two. This is the battle for the lead. Once again, heating up. Daniel McConnell on Andrew Trickett's back bumper. Here coming into is this the toe of the boot here at Watkins Glen. Daniel McConnell, he's going to be, if I were to put a live bet on somebody here, even one to watch, I would definitely
It'd be
take
Daniel,
that umbrella.
100%. Yeah. He's had such a good race. It's been a clean race all around. It'll be interesting to see what goes on here and get some. You're right. The 2 minute pit ban does a factor into the fuel strategies. I'm just surprised by the early dive in, because you'll be out of the pits. People will still be live racing. So you're losing a decent amount of track time. Whereas if you maybe wait for the caution to come out, and you know, if that pit lane is open during the caution, and Jason, if you can jump in on that as well, if the pit lane's open during caution, you would lose less time on track during that caution pit. So definitely, you know, a lot of things going on. Definitely curious about those decisions made by some of these drivers here.
Going to be interesting to see where this all plays out. And yes, you shouted out Get Some as well as Jason there in the chat. And I mean, even joining us up in the broadcast booth, it's super interesting to get even a behind the scenes look, or even the YouTube chat's kind of look of things. As we'll cut one more time to our live cams as we got I think, yeah, Kyle out of the car, so his teammates in. Nico Colby, I would expect him not to be driving right now. Looks like a head down on the phone. And I mean, goodness gracious, Daniel, he's now a second behind our race leader of Andrew. This is all going to cycle out under caution. Just going to be super, super interesting where all of it, each class, especially with GT4 Pro Am, TCR, and GR86. As there it is, caution flag is being shown up in the top left of the screen.
Yeah, and that means that we're going to get a nice bunching back together
Woohoo!
For all of these racers. And that means it is still up in the air now. I should have asked before when we had Jason up in the... But are we going to get wave arounds?
You know, I'm trying to recall back to our last race at Sebring, if I remember right, I swear I remember seeing wave arounds. But man, Nick, that's another interesting thing that you bring up within the race here today. We're gonna give everybody a quick a look on kind of their paint schemes and where their drivers are running. We started with the top 4 and we'll continue to keep going down. But man, Nick, that's another reason I love having you up here in the booth, because you think of the questions that I don't, and it's will once again kind of be interesting to see where everything cycles out to here today.
Ilya in chat is saying that there is wave arounds, so that does play into it as well.
Thank you, Jason.
Right, with wave arounds, that means that even if you were a lap down, 2 laps down, you're now back in play with the rest of your pack. So it does get interesting with some of the things that can happen, because if you were a lap down, now the race is back into contention, and this competition yellow throws everything that happened before basically out the window. Yes, you still, if you don't have any more of your faster pairs and such, that plays a part. But one, we're going to see a lot of potential shenanigans during these opening turns. A lot of people, now that we're maybe out of it for a bit and just putting in the laps till they could get to this point, are now going to start vying for positions again. Rubber is going to be laid down heavily. Preston, who was vying for first, dropped down a lap back. With this wave round, they're back on lead lap. They fighting for position again, and we saw that they had speed. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens with everything that after all of these wave rounds and we start going again, which drivers are able to make use fully of these positions.
Definitely going to be interesting to see. Is I'd like to clarify, I know it said leading overall on about top 8 there. No, that was I had to update that in the graphics, as now we see leading TCR. That is correct, of Mike de Almeida here. But really within the lead of TCR, we've seen really a David Bauer and John Lauzun, Jason Jin as well. Excuse me, just John there. And TCR class. So yep, things are going to slow down just a little bit for us here at Watkins Glen, is getting everything cycled back out, some wave arounds taken care of. Let's see here, we'll continue to go through the field on the bottom of your screen. Here's Pete Dillon, P14 in class. David Bauer is still P2 in class, and then Austin there, P17. That's 17th overall, 15th in GT4, but he is one of those AM drivers, so he is actually believe 4 at the moment in class. Mark Darnell, John Lauzun, Jason Jin, as we continue to work our way down through the field. And pit road should be opening for these guys this time by. It's going to be hopefully a quick little caution here. Yep, here comes Andrew Darnell, Daniel McConnell, Justin Bragan in as we continue to work through. Just keep showing you some names, some paint schemes down here that we maybe have not seen here tonight.
Yeah, always amazing to see some of these paint schemes. And if you're looking for people to do paint schemes, there's a bunch. Such a beautiful job. I love trading paints and what they've been able to do for this game to get the kinds of paint schemes out onto these cars, the customization of them, so you can get sponsors and that. Really just amazing. That allows also the creativity of the artists to come out as well. So always awesome to see what we get on track as we are waiting for this competition yellow to pass us by, make sure everybody's in position. We talked about like our drivers to watch and things of that nature. We're going to have to keep an eye on these pits. These pits are going to be massive, as interesting thing there with one of the cars.
Oh no, sorry.
Hopped on track. That was a little bit of an interesting point there, but the pits, you can see a lot of people diving into the pits now during the competition yellow. The door of the Explorer car, very obvious to know where they are on the track. When door of the Explorer, very, very custom. But when you have these pits happening, there is still about 55 minutes left in the race. We know that is on the very, very edge of what the window is for some of these cars for fuel. That doesn't take into account their tires, and if their tires are wearing, we've seen some differing opinions on what the tire degradation looks like, and what the ending 2 hours, so there's still an extra 40 minutes past that, but it's really going to be down to this fuel. And if there's rain, everything that we've said goes right out the window because everybody's pitting for wet tires. And then, that's when everything just goes sideways and we don't know what's going to happen.
So without me pulling up the iRacing UI here, we're just getting a quick glimpse at the sky, and it is 30% chance of rain within the last 32 minutes. Maybe a little bit of rain cloud action here at the front of Steve Kelly, but I think it's a little bit too partly cloudy. We'll thank our sponsors, and I'll actually bring up the weather radar. Let's see here. Okay, updated forecast for drivers and fans listening. What was supposed to be 32% in the last 30 minutes, updated. Now 1%, 4%, 3%, 2%. Within...
We're not getting rain.
Yeah, that's what it's going to boil down to. The sky looked a little bit blue. No kidding. I'm right there.
It's okay. But I mean, it simplifies the race a little bit for these drivers. They don't have to worry about rain and putting tires on there and like, oh, do I want to put fuel in so I can push harder? Like, none of that matters now. It is all fuel conservation to the very end. And who can extend that period to the maximum amount, because Jason said that the top end was 50 minutes. And there is a staggering of the classes as well. So it is going to be playing a little bit of, ring around the rosy in that pit lane of who can pit when, because you don't want to, get caught up with the wrong group. So something that you will have to keep an eye on is how that goes.
Something else I want to keep an eye on, or maybe even an ear on. Actually, Nick, I know you don't have access to audio in our stream, so let me cut off the music here. Let's hop on board with our driver iCam. This is our leader of James Cochrane here, the 22 McLaren. He's running just about the lowest revs you can. I know in NASCAR in any car you can shut off the ignition. That'll help you save a little bit more fuel, but like you said, Nicholas, this is right within kind of our fuel window, and oh my goodness, we're going to see, I think, a bit more splash and dashes at the end of this race than we might think, as here comes a few more drivers getting their wave around. Drivers starting towards the front of the pack, though. GT4 Pro, we got James Cochrane, Access Experience, Justin Bragan, there he is, he gained 2 spots on that cycle. Brooks Clayton, Daniel McConnell lost 2 spots, and then getting to our GT4 AM drivers, Bredden Medling and Adam J. Bollard will be starting side by side in the 196 Aston Martin and the 129 McLaren. Aaron Kushner there back in P3 GT4 AM in the 121, or excuse me, 101. There you go. Man, there's so many wave arounds coming up. My goodness gracious.
And that's going to play a big part in the restarts as well. As everybody's going to be bunched back together, so these restarts are going to be hectic. So keep your eye out for any potential bad happenings that could unfortunately happen. As to get around that pit car, they had to get into the grass. And that does not feel good, because that really eats up your tires.
That it does, and apologies, I think my mic was muted there for the last minute or two, but that's okay. We're just hanging out under yellow. I was making stupid jokes, so nobody missed anything anyways. Lights are still on the pace car, so Nick, if you don't have a break to take, I'm going to take a real quick one before we get going. I'll leave you on the static cams, and shoot, I don't know, maybe a little bit tell us a little bit more about what you're doing behind the scenes with your own production or whatever it may be. I will be right back.
Uh-oh, you guys are stuck with me now. No, it's it's a good time. Obviously, there's a lot that goes into a production, and Sean's doing an absolutely wonderful job. It's not an easy time, as we have a lot of passive, wave rounds still to work through. Taking a lot longer. It's we're now coming up on probably over the 10-minute mark for this competition yellow. And one thing that you have to, kind of keep in mind with is obviously the restart. I've talked about it being hectic. We saw at the very beginning of the race, going into the S's turn 2 and turn, about halfway between them, and it was right here on this camera. We saw all of the crashes start happening. Saw them go wide. These classes are extremely competitive within themselves, which means you can easily get 2, 3, 4 wide through some of these turns. With how narrow of a track that Watkins Glen is, you can't easily fit them 2, 3, 4 wide going through a turn. The margins for error are just so slim that even in perfect conditions, right, you just can't make it happen, because there's still the network that you have to play with, and the give and take with the network, because this is online, that you have to take into account as well. And the boxes of the cars are slightly larger than the cars themselves. So when you think you really have room, you may sing. But so these drivers are going to be pushing these cars to the very edge of what they're capable of in the sim to try and work their way up, since they have these positions. And that's where we're going to see a lot of these fireworks start to come out in the early stages of the second half of this race. So that's something that you're definitely going to keep an eye on as we get started. As we are welcoming Sean back now. And yeah, that rant over.
Oh boy, what did I miss? No, just kidding. It's probably, with all due respect, it's probably worth the rant there. But no, thanks for welcoming me back, and I would like to welcome back our sponsors once again: Advanced Sim Racing, AlienAwards.net. Well, for starters, Advanced Sim Racing, once again, $100 off right now on their website. AlienAwards.net offering iRacing trophies, plaques, medals, etc. You name it, they have it. ATC, middle of the pack racing, simracingnation.com, sync mesh, get yourself some gloves, some sim attire, and you'll gain a 10th or 2, I promise. Something a little bit closer to me, Race to Stop Suicide. They sponsor an Xfinity NASCAR driver, but it's just a little kind of small affiliation over on SSN. I won't get into the story of it, but it just means so much to me. So, Race to Stop Suicide, and of course all of our sponsors that make this possible. Could not do this once again without our title sponsor here. Sports Car Endurance League welcomes Virtual Racing School. They've been on now for a race or 2. Appreciate them, as well as some more discount codes. Hit up the SCEL Sim Racing Nation Discord server and get yourself some VRS discount codes. Nick, thank you for taking over for me while we had a quick yellow flag. Looks like some drivers taking a break as well.
Yeah, it's important. You got to get your rest in one of these 2-hour and 40-minute races. Got to hydrate, got to stretch the legs, got to make sure that you're in good physical conditions to make sure that you can put in the hours on this race. So
I laugh, but you're exactly right, Nick. I was sore for about 3 or 4 days after my last GT4 versus NASCAR League race, and yeah, if you're a little, even just a little bit out of the loop or out of the game, it can sneak up on you, the physical aspect of sim racing.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people think that, you're just sitting in front of a computer monitor, turning a wheel, pressing some pedals. There's not really anything there too. But there is a lot. Esports in general has evolved a lot from, 10, 20 years ago, when it was, not as big of a deal. So now today, a lot of these professionals in the scene, they have strict workouts they have to follow, because to sit for this extended period of time. So whenever that happens, your body has to be trained for it, and you still have to be getting up and doing other things to make sure that you don't have issues later on because of that. So definitely, if you're out there and you enjoy this kind of stuff, do not forget to stand up and stretch and drink water and take care of your body, because it is the one thing that is allowing you to participate in this awesome sport of iRacing.
It really is, and
essentially go touch grass.
Oh my gosh. G-Brand, not a sponsor, but I saw in a quick, it was a reel or a short today. They have, I don't know if it's an April Fool's thing, but like a turf skin that you can put on like your Nintendo Switch Joy-Con or even your phone. That's an easy way to touch grass if you really don't want to, but I love how this is what we're getting to. You go
outside, you get your vitamin D.
Yes,
you say hello sun or hello moon, whichever one you want, preferably sun.
Moon.
Touch the grass. You know, I mean, it can be nighttime when you go outside and touch the grass too, but preferably during the day.
Yeah, get that.
So you can get some of that vitamin D.
Exactly.
Touch some grass, feel good. It helps the brain too. Brain needs it. You're a complicated house plant that requires sun, water, and movement in order to be happy. So you got to keep that in mind as you participate in these iRacing.
That's we do.
Okay, yeah, I mean, yes, you are correct. Hydrating with water is preferred. So, I mean, don't. That's for any of you out there. That is pointed directly at me. That is my girlfriend telling me to hydrate with water, and we can say that I'm drinking something that has water.
Oh boy!
It also has a lot of flavor, and it starts with a C and ends in cola.
Oh, well, hey, that's close enough. Mar, appreciate you coming out, and I feel like that goes both ways, because I feel like if I'm not saying Mar, anybody in that other side of the relationship, Nick, maybe you can agree with me here. If there's ever a headache on that other side, you say, "Have you drinking water today yet?" So I think it goes a little both ways.
Have you eaten? Have you drank water? Have you exercised? Like, it's a huge thing. And then also, you know, making sure you spend time with them, as we're now 20 minutes into this competition. And we're just rambling at this point, waiting right up again as we're waiting to happen. And all the pits to happen. So, you know, we get to ramble a little bit here, Sean. But yeah, no, it's that it's not just you out there. You know, it could be, you know, you never know, but there.
Real quick, if we
spend time with them as well.
If we have any drivers or anybody in the YouTube chat that is family members with drivers that is talking to them, we still have the lights on the pace car, so let us know. Either hop out in the interview waiting room, or let us know on YouTube chat if we can drag somebody down in here. We would be much willing to do so. Is timing screen? Oh. Okay, hopefully that has worked now, Nick. I just saw your mess. I'm just now checking Discord. Apologies for that. You know what?
You're good.
Okay, Nick, I'll be right back. I do know somebody we can hop in with. I'll join you right back here on SRN.
Sounds good.
Hey, Warren, Nico, you guys got a copy? There's Sean Stam up in the booth.
Yep.
How we doing, Sean?
Oh, hanging in there, just hanging out under caution. How are you guys doing here in the GR86 class?
We're doing great, man. We're kind of wondering what's going on with the fuel and the wave around, because it says we're still a lap down, but we never got the wave around. But this kind of happens every time. This happens every time we do this. So, but it's okay, you know. It's still a fun time. Watkins Glen's a fun track, but some of these guys are rapid. I thought we would be fighting for a podium, but those top 5 dudes are hitting ridiculous lap times. So.
It looks like it. It's been so much fun to watch. Nico, it looks like you're back in the car. Are you ready to take to this restart? And should we be watching this number 424 on the restart?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get as many positions as I can, get a good jump on these other Toyotas.
Alrighty, man. Well, shoot, I appreciate you guys letting me join. We got Andrew Sharp up in the top right. He's smiling a little bit. But anyways, I'm going to let you guys get back to it. We should be under green in just a few moments' time. Best of luck in the rest of you guys' race.
Thanks, Sean. Appreciate you coming in here, man.
Of course, man. You guys take care. All right, finding my way back to the home over here at Nicholas Hall. That was cool to get a quick insight there. And Nick, I think that was you and I commentating when Andrew Sharp, he just wouldn't stop smiling. I think our last race in Sebring, he was giving us some pearly white action in the top right of our driver cams, number 24. We might have to get some commentator cams, Nick. I think it's our time.
We could. I mean, I'd have to re-finagle the setup a bit, but it could happen.
Yeah, shoot. I've given a first-person cam look at kind of my setup before on some streams, and that's been cool to watch. But yes, maybe commentator cams coming in maybe a season or two. But right now, I don't know. I don't think they're missing out on too much.
Nah, they don't need to see us. What they want to see is right here.
Exactly.
Wheel-to-wheel action. That's what's important. They don't want to see us. They want to see the action, because that's way more important. As James Cochran's in first right now during this competition. Yeah. I mean, overall, I'm looking down the list of names on the screen right now.
Oh, sorry.
And as you take them away from me.
Great.
But
producer.
I mean, it's it's going to be a quick start to this race, and we're going to see a lot of action. You can see Justin's right back there as well. I mean, yeah, Bragan's really going to be pushing a lot to try to get into that first. I mean, right behind them as well. I guess that's the teammate, Brooks Clayton of the other of Ron, who's been leading for so long. So we'll have to see what they're able to do in their McLaren as well, as we should be coming up soon on the end of this competition yellow. So
yes, sirree, Bobcat Tail. I would like to mention real quick, sorry if I'm cutting you off once again, Nick, but before we get going, Get Some Jay, he says, guys, I've been married 38 years. Secret is, well, learning to ignore them. So there you go. A lesson learned from me as well is it looks like we are getting, yes, lights are out. Nick, maybe once we start to kind of combine our SSN and 10 what is it there? 10
acts.
10 acts, there you go.
It's a mouthful, yeah, 10 acts, there you go.
We can get a little side by side on class starts, but for right now, I'll try and keep us a little bit between both class starts, as here we go once again. The restart is in James Cochran's hands. Green flag is out in the GT4 Pro and Am class, just behind his TC4.
3 wide, a little bit back pack there, as we have quite a bit of spacing here. I think we didn't see too much action up front. It was really back and some of the shifts occur that crash in the opening laps of the race, but right now it's been fully clean.
We're looking back here at the lead of Toyota GR86 and making their way up through the S's now as some flashing lights of a TR86 TCR in the background is James Cochran, the leader. That's going to be a slowdown. Access to experience could be our leader within the next turn, depending on how much James has to slow down here.
Yeah, and they're on the back straight right now. They're coming soon into the outer, as they're entering the outer loop now, It looks like, if I have it correct in my head.
Believe you do.
And then it's going to go into the shoot. Yeah, I mean, they're looking good so far through here as really clean racing on this restart, which is nice. Like we saw in the early one, I guess they were just getting fuel tires, even though they had that like formation lap to warm them up, it just didn't do enough. They were able to keep them relatively warm here, and now it is just flat out racing with less than 40 minutes to go. We have 34 minutes left in the anybody's checkered flag to grab at the end, as we are watching Daniel McConnell right now and John Ebersole from a couple of different points here, trying to see if can't something happen within their respective categories and grabbing a victory for themselves.
Yeah, sorry to cut you off the battle you were calling there, but I noticed John Ebersole, he's up 2 spots since from where they started here, running P30 overall. That's P6 in class for Toyota GR86. Nice run for, that's Pandaspec Motorsports red class is TCR passing down. That's a separate class car down the inside, but yeah, nice run here for John Ebersole today, and if they're able to keep this strategy up, going to be a great run in the points as another TCR making their way down the inside of John.
Yeah, and John's doing a good job of letting them by, not trying to hold them up, and instead using that to kind of weave their way through. And that's what's really important, is understanding how to still maneuver your car as there's faster cars around you. And they're doing an excellent job of it so far, just trying to get their positions that they need back, as right now it looks like they are 1 lap down, so still struggling a little bit in terms of the time, but still something can be made with about 32 minutes left in this race. And with how long the competition yellow was and how little fuel you burn there is a high light on the high end to be able to make it to the end of this race. But what a dodge there from, I did not catch the number of that car.
Where's he
They had to really
Nick.
dip out of the way.
That's Nick Yakubov.
What?
He's still around. That is right on the racing line. Now he's able to get it reversed. You see the front wheel drive car's tires spinning off of that TCR. I'm not going to take a replay because we'll go blinky mode, but you kind of saw it happen there.
There was a
Yeah.
the lead in GR86 because of that incident as well. Andrew just squeezed by and got ahead of Damon.
Welcome back, Mr. Jason Landry, league owner of SCEL. Man, this is going to be such an interesting last 30 minutes of this race. Excellent spot to join back in. Looking at the battle of P6 overall, got the battle of AM right behind with Brandon and Adam in GT4 AM.
And I believe those two potentially are the AM drivers, right? So
Yes,
they're
sir.
battling for position.
Yep, that is right. Brandon and, Brandon is, I think, trying to take the spot away from Andrew here. Adam is the spots in AM.
Oh, that's true. Okay, so there's about a 4-second gap between those two.
Oh, yeah. That kind of caught me off guard. I was setting it up as well, so that's kind of my bad there. But, man, Braden, he's got the pace to possibly even move up into not a 100 number class, Pro GT4.
Yeah, he's definitely moving. It looks like he's got some damage to the rear end as well, so he's pretty impressive.
We'll take a look this time by. Is that the left rear or right rear? Or left? Yeah, it looks like the left rear. I see what you're seeing there. The
Yeah.
Andrew ticket machine.
I don't think he's got a rear bumper on that Aston anymore.
Oh, no. Well,
So he's got a 4-second gap to Adam behind, but with all that damage, I mean, that might close up for the AM lead.
it can happen pretty quick, as we have seen one too many times in SCEL before. It happens in the blink of an eye just sometimes. We will look at the battle for GR86. This is a battle for the lead between Andrew J. Sharp and Damon Mitchell. They're separated by just under half a second.
Yeah, and Damon's been leading pretty much the entire race with Raymond Tiu as his co-driver. So really unfortunate that he lost the lead there due to that spin with Nick Yakubov, but he's not letting go. He's keeping up, and he's coming right back at him.
This is going to be so fun to watch because you kind of have that in the relative box, don't you, Jason? You see Glen Bratton back there. He's P3. Oh, that's a spin for John Ebersol, I believe.
Yeah, that Panda spec is John Ebersol's.
Oh, I'm trying to get it here. There we go. Oh, shit. I'm once again scared to cut to the replay, but John Ebersol going to go around. Sean and Tater Kirsch going to strike again here. SCEL series.
Yeah, it looked like it was just a little too much gas on the exit of that turn. Spun them right around. It can happen very easily, especially if you haven't taken tires and they bit. Very easily can spin your car if you aren't careful. So we might be seeing more and more of that to get into this race. You know, for the later we get into this race here, Jason, obviously the tires become a play here. With how long the competition yellow was, though, do you think that we're going to see any more pit stops from these drivers before the end of the race, a splash and dash, or are they just and hope that they have enough gas?
I think the GR86s are pretty safe. TCR, I'm not 100% sure. It's going to be really close, to be honest. I know John's really good at saving fuel, so he could potentially make it. And those gaps, judging by, I think he's about 4 seconds, and he's losing time to the leaders. He's got pace with the leaders, but he might be saving some fuel. GT4s, I believe, are going to have to pit again. It's going to be a really quick splash and dash, but maybe somebody's trying something really crazy and saving, but it'd be really hard to make it to the end with the GT4s.
That is always good information to have from the owner's mouth, who you know, you have the experience that of the setups of these cars. Essentially, as you were the one who set this race, but I want to hear a little bit more about the choices of these cars once again, as filtering through. Obviously, we have the McLaren, the Aston, BMW, the Cadillacs, and such. Why these cars in particular? I know that they're close with the BOP of iRacing, but there's a lot out there. So talk to us a little bit about like and why these specifically.
Well, I really wanted to do something that not a lot of people are putting together right now. So I find there's a lot of series out there with fast class, IMSA classes, the prototypes, GT3s, Porsche Cup cars. So I'm basically trying to fill a market that isn't quite there. There's a lot of GT4 leagues, which is why we have such a huge entry list for the GT4s with 25 that we've maxed out. This battle is really hard not to look at, by the way.
It is.
These guys are flying, and look at the gap of TCR. I mean, GR86, 0.2, like the top 4 in GR86 are really close. Top 4 in TCR are really close, and the entire field of GT4 are pretty close. But yeah, so to get back to the question, it's basically, oh, they're gonna touch.
Ooh.
I think that might have been a bit of a push.
Yeah,
I hope he gives that position back.
That's not even Axe's experience.
About that tomorrow.
Oh, that's not even for position. That's a lapped car, is it?
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, wow.
Okay, anyway,
yeah, you
sorry
might
to
see
cut
something
you
about
guys
that
off.
tomorrow.
Keep going. Keep going.
Oh man, these guys are getting close. I'm gonna try to talk, but I don't know if I. Oh man, these guys are flying into the bus stop.
This is the hard
Look at them,
part.
all 4 of them. So basically, I was trying to fill a gap with the amount of. There's not that many TCR leagues. There's not that many GR86 leagues, and I wanted to replicate something similar to like a NIS on iRacing. So if anybody's not aware, it's like a full season of NASCAR for the whole year.
Oh yeah.
So this is kind of like a NIS of like IMSA Pilot Cup, and then we added GR86 on the bottom, just for a little extra cars on the grid.
Absolutely love it. It's always good to fill these niche areas where drivers want to race, they just don't have a lot out there. So it's nice to see that those are being filled. And it's been super competitive the few times that I've been here. I love.
There's a lead for the GR86 change. I think these guys are done working together.
Yeah, and that's what's going to start happening, right? These teammates who have been working together now are like, nope, it's all.
It's on, yeah.
What they come up with.
Looking like some bump drafting going down into the bus stop here. Who's going to make better of it? That's Damon Mitchell retaining the lead as Andrew J. Sharp is trying to keep P2, but Glen Bratton right there in the 489. He might just be there in the entry of turn number.
I think that's the last car.
Oh, is that
Not
throwing
to
me
cut
off
you
again?
off, but yeah.
Oh,
Glen
it
Bratton's
is.
The fun of the sports car
I'm
is there's
sorry.
lap.
Yeah, I cut you guys off for a lap car. Okay, now I feel great. Sorry, boys.
So are those two cars behind battling for position?
They are. That's exactly what I was starting to get at there. Joe Nagy and Blake Phillips there for Toyota GR86 P5 and P6.
So that's some good points on the table there. Definitely, they're going to want to fight, and with the two leaders, it's going to be really interesting how they play that. If they're going to be aggressive with them, because they have their own fight on their hands.
Nick, I know you mentioned earlier, I just want to slot this in real quick before we get into some more racing action. If you guys are looking for a paint scheme, John Ebersol's teammate, Rob Edgel, he did this paint scheme here for Panda Spec, and just a quick shout out. Oh man, if you are looking for a paint, Rob is who I would definitely hit up. Is look at the spec maps just coming to life, making that number 494 look great there in P number 9 Toyota GR86, and we'll cut back to that battle here.
Yeah, that Panda Spec is a nice looking car, and the car behind him, there was a pink car, is also a very nice looking car as well.
Is that Richard Danielowski, I believe, Canadian driver, the one? Oh. Could be the 127. Anyways,
there is crazy battles happening in that GR86. They're all fighting for it. These four cars here, even though they're not on the same lap, those two cars for the lead are definitely pushing each other. I don't think Andrew wants to necessarily get in the lead quite yet, especially with this track. Sometimes it's better to be the car just behind and then waiting for that final lap to make your move. Yeah, you don't want to really use your tires up. And Andrew's got that experience because he's part of the Toyota GR86 North America esports competition. So he's definitely a very, very fast driver. He's won the 2 first races. And he definitely has the experience on when to push and when not to push. So I'd be very wary of him if I was Damon.
Going to be something that we have to keep an eye on is, 30 minutes to go. This is when we had our 30% chance. I gave us a little bit of a weatherman breakdown. It dropped down to 1 to 2% chance. Not looking like that will be a factor. As man, you said it best. Our battles in Toyota GR86. This is a battle for the lead. Damon Mitchell, Andrew J. Sharp coming to the last 3 turns of this lap here at Watkins Glen International. Only 11 turns, but it feels like an eternity around the short track of road course racing. Andrew J. Sharp within 2 car lengths. I think he could possibly take the race lead in Toyota GR86. What do you guys think?
I think it's fully possible with how they're racing right now. I think the hard part is just finding the gap and the gap and making it stick. Always going to be the hard part, though it is doable. It's just finding that moment to make it happen.
Yeah, if I was Andrew, I'd be sitting right there with him. Honestly, I'd be waiting to the very last lap, and I would pass him into the bus stop if it was me.
You are a mug. I like it, Jason.
Because there's a big draft with these GR86 cars. The only thing Andrew really needs to be worried about is those 2 cars behind, because they are also battling for position.
Oh, here we go, matter of fact.
Yeah, here we go. If they get in between there, yeah, he's going to have to go for sure.
Oh, Andrew Sharp sending it in a little bit too deep. Possibly going to take a slowdown.
And he holds on. Wow.
He does, but that's going to be a slowdown of 1.5 seconds, I do believe. Yep, taking the outside line. Back to Damon Mitchell, but what a send of Andrew.
So that's going to cool that battle down a little bit for Andrew's going to have to get his way back up. But looking at the GT4 guys, I think we have a new leader, and I think that might be my teammates.
Oh my goodness!
It is. Justin Bragan's up to the top. I mean, we've been talking about Justin for a good second here. With how well this BMW is doing with the fuel saving, they're getting per stint.
We got a pits or somebody pit early. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, that's what's going to give your teammate the lead there. Is our replay actually finally worked? Nick, I heard the kind of hesitant in your voice there as we cut to it. It'll work though.
We've been talking about with Justin as well as they've been able to extend their stint by 1 or 2 laps over everybody else because of how well they're able to save fuel in that BMW machine. So it's going to be very interesting as Daniel's right up
he is there
to see what's going to happen. Is Daniel going to be able to make them stick the move and then stick it out to the end, or are they going to have to pit and Justin's going to take it to the end just because fuel strategy is just that good tonight?
So one thing we haven't seen though is Justin taking the lead outright, right? He's been sitting behind other cars, sipping on fuel. Now he's in the lead. It'll be interesting to see if he can still pull off those extra laps and make it to the end, or if he's going to have to do a splash and dash like everybody else in the GT4 field.
Stick with us
and
here on
that's going to be the big change.
Something to watch. My goodness, Justin Bragan, our league owner's teammates, as we have him up here in the booth. Man, we are 2x2 heading into the bus stop. Little dangerous here, boys.
And you can see Daniel had a good run on it as well. Really shot up to the bumper of Justin there, going through the top end of the bus stop. And so, I mean,
we have Preston
Porsche's looking to make that move. I think that's a lapped car. I think that's...
I believe
it's Preston Lee. He is definitely a lapped car, and he is
the pace. We've seen it tonight.
For sure. He's definitely made some bold moves. So I would be surprised if he tries to get that lap back.
We're hopping on
he's
board.
He's sitting in 10th right now. I mean, he has the pace to pass. He just has to find the right opportunity to do so.
Well said,
and with only 17 minutes left, I doubt they'll be able to make the lap back completely, but they at least wouldn't be a lap down. And with it being 55 seconds back, I think it'd be tight, but I think they can potentially pass Axis and potentially James as well, just depending on because they have the speed, especially through these corners. The Porsche really showing their strength here at Watkins Glen. It's just, can they solidify the move and then get to 9th, 8th, and potentially 7th, because Brand is not too far in front of James either, and see if they can't make a position stick there and go up 3 or 4 positions. But we'll just have to wait and see if they're able to actually make that move happen.
Nick Yakuboff once again going around as our battle for the lead overall continues to get just a little bit closer. This is Justin Bragan, Daniel McConnell. What is just about to be side by side heading into the bus stop. Put your guesses in now. Who's going to come away with this thing? Justin taking the defensive line into the bus stop. Jason, you are probably hanging onto your seat right now, man.
Yeah, and there's some battles going on with TCR as well. I see they're switching up first and second. One thing you got to keep in mind with, we've seen Nick have a spin in front of the leaders there.
Yes.
With the new updates, there was a change with the TCR class setups where the brake bias was brought to the rear by quite a bit. So I think some drivers might be struggling with the rearward brake bias.
That would change a lot of how these cars drive.
Let's see if the back end just comes right around, because that would be the result of too much brake bias. That's exactly what it is. Excellent call,
Yeah,
Jason.
it is.
Yeah, the TCR cars are difficult to drive to begin with. And then with this new updates, with them putting that brake bias all the way to the rear like that, definitely is tricky. It's hard to hold on to, and the Audi is a bit of a stiff car.
Oh, bit of a stiff.
Yeah, with bumps like there are at turn 1, it's a tricky car to drive.
Tricky car to drive. Oh man, that is an understatement, but my goodness gracious. We have battle for the lead continuing here overall. Justin Bragan, your teammate Jason, continuing to hold off Daniel McConnell. I think the driver who's our driver to beat tonight.
Yeah, it's looking good, but you guys should really watch this TCR battle going on right now. For the lead.
Okay, we're gonna, yes, we will. In words of league owner himself, David and Mike
and
D.
it's a good
Almeida.
one.
They've been swapping positions for this entire lap.
That's the Dora Explorer machine and the breakfast.
Ooh, going a little wide there, and that could actually potentially do the swap if the brake fast. Yeah, there it is. They've been able to secure their position, going up the inside with the Dora machine going a little bit wide. And with that, I mean, there's still enough time for the Dora machine to come back for Mike, but David Bauer doing really good to punish the mistake of Mike De Almeida there as they come down this straightaway here.
And I wouldn't be surprised to see Mike take the lead into the bus stop. It looks like there's a little bit of damage on the front bumper of that Elantra, and the Veloster is quite a fast TCR car in a straight line, so it typically has a bit of an advantage on straight lines. Obviously, there's a bit of traffic here, so it might be hard, but on a different lap, I would have said that Mike might have the advantage going into the bus stop.
Well, we'll just have to wait and see, as currently it is going to be David who's going to come out of the back end of the bus stop having a good line through, as we are going to jump down to Justin Bragan in this first position still, or cut back, as it's just getting tighter and tighter up there. Now that they actually have a little bit of traffic in front of them, they can actually play a little the swapping of the leaders if they can't get through it safely.
Yeah, this could help out Justin right now. He's got that lapped car kind of taking the inside line, maybe costing Daniel a little bit of time. But Daniel seemed to have handled that quite well, so I didn't cost him too much, but he definitely lost a 10th.
Yeah, you can see that gap opening up just a little bit.
That for P3 and P4 heating up, as well as in the GT4 Pro class. This is Brooks Clayton and Andrew Trickett. I mean, I need another computer here, boys. This is too many battles to keep track of.
Yeah, that late caution has definitely spiced things up a little bit. It looks like TCR or GRE6 has cooled off a little bit. I'm not sure if there was an incident involved there, but Andrew's got quite the lead now. But the rest of the field is, yeah, the fight for P1, P2 TCR, P1, P2 GT4, P3, P4 GT4. There's a lot of battles happening right now.
Yeah, I mean, just wait till I get my GPU, Sean. Then we can make something happen.
Yeah, now we're talking.
My GPU and a little bit of extra money to pay for the iRacing for 2 years. Then we can make something happen. But I want to take full advantage of that new % off. This is such a good deal. For all of you non-iRacers out there, first time joining iRacing, get 40% off. At least right now, last I checked, any of their membership packages. So might as well, go big, get the 2 years at 40% off. You're a lot of money. So you can't pass that up.
Before the tariff strike, get with the iRacing.
Would it affect that?
I don't know.
So
Anyways.
It looks like Daniel might be just happy sitting behind Justin for now, trying to save that fuel.
Like you said, Jason, here at Watkins Glen, I would much rather be the P2 car rather than P1. Especially, I mean, goodness, we are already at 10 minutes to go here at Watkins Glen International. This is Sports Car Endurance League, brought to you by Advanced Sim Racing, AlienSim.net, ATC, Middle of the Pack Racing, Positive Perception, SimRacingNation.com, and Sync Mesh. My goodness, Jason, we are getting into the nitty-gritty here. Just a little under half of a second separating our first and second cars overall. Brooks Clayton, Andrew Trickett, right there, P3, P4.
And don't forget about the AM class, because Eclipse Racing, car 196 with that rear bumper that was broken. Well,
did they
we've
get
got
that
Adam.
fixed?
No, but Adam's right behind him, and he's within a second of him. So he's
Oh
caught up
my
at 4
goodness.
seconds, and he is flying to Braden right now.
Everybody is flying all throughout the track, Nick. I cannot wait till we get a little merger action going, but this is once again battle for the lead overall. Thanking the 20 live viewers in YouTube lands right now, as well as any of you watching the broadcast replay here on Stam Studio Network. Means the world to us. We could not do this without SCEL, the sponsors, and of course you guys watching live there on Stam Studio Network. It means the world to us. Battle for the lead continuing to heat
Less
up
than
between
9
Justin
minutes
and
to
Dan.
go. Less than 9 minutes to go here to the checkered flag. And I mean, Daniel has a good strategy so far. You know, sit in second, wait to shoot that gap to the last second and hope that you can stick it. Because they definitely have the speed.
Yeah, the
Is
TCR
now-
have been definitely having some traffic, so the gap kind of expanded a little bit and then came back down. But you can see Mike is really not letting that lead go. I think he's
got his
just
map
playing his
open.
time as well.
He's got his map. Is that what you just said, Nick? He's got his map open?
He's opened his backpack. It sang its
Oh,
song.
oh.
Now the map has sang its song, and now he's got it open to make sure he knows exactly the path that he needs to take, and
it.
you know that Swiper isn't swiping. Sorry, that was really bad. I've been holding.
No, that gained
I
you an
couldn't
extra
do it
$5
anymore.
right there in the PayPal after the race. I'll give you that one. That's pretty good. Here we go. That is David Bauer now to the lead. Will pass Mike on out of turn number 11 there. David Bauer out to the lead. TCR. We will jump back to the lead in GT4 Pro for the time being as this battle continues to lead. I've had my eye on Justin this whole night, and if this continues to work out for him, Jason, oh my goodness gracious, what a race it would be. What a night it would be for the 5 camp, you and Justin there in the BMW.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Honestly, I don't even see why I'm part of the team.
Oh, come on now.
Last race, I crashed out of the lead, and now Justin's showing me up quite nicely, so I'm pretty happy with that.
No, believe me,
It's a
I've
team
been
effort.
there. Yes, exactly, Nick. Thank you. Especially these endurance class races. Oh man, one wall can snap out and bite you, but it's just how fast it can happen. But speaking of how fast it can happen, with just 7 minutes to go, I don't think that we can hand this win away just yet, because Daniel McConnell, he is within 0.2 of a second overall lead as well. Same thing there for TCR. David Bauer, Mike going at it within 0.3.
And there's a bit of gaps in the GR86 class, but one thing I've noticed is that car in third position, Mad Sim Racing, we haven't seen them up this high before, so they are having one hell of a race. I think it's Robert Gregoire and Patrick Stein. I'm not sure if they're both racing today, but they're doing an incredible job to keep it up this high in P3.
Yeah, I mean, they've had an excellent race themselves. One thing with those 86s is sometimes they can be a little bit trouble in the traffic parts if you aren't fully, comfortable in the car and know where you have to brake and the gaps between the cars, because everybody has a different braking point, like you were talking about earlier.
We're coming
But
up
the
on some
fact that
lap
they've been able
traffic,
to
boys.
push it up there. Yeah, and this is where it really gets hairy for some of these 86s, as well as some of the faster cars, is because the faster cars, yes, they have to brake early, but they're also carrying more. Sometimes your brake points are changing even in the middle of braking. Really, on top of it to make sure that you can rotate these cars as necessary, or to not rotate them if there's someone shooting the gap underneath you who's faster.
And that TCR lead is about to get real fiery. Watch this coming down into turn one.
Oh, this is the chicane. That's David Bauer once again. Thank you for saving me here, Jason. We are going back and forth. We're going to take a look at how David Bauer made that pass real quick, and then we'll jump right back to live. This is going into the bus stop here. David Bauer taking that inside. Oh, he just barely able to make it stick. Breakfast for dinner out to the lead for TCR. Now at a 1.5 second gap.
And that was some really respectful racing from Mike. When he realized he just could not do anything there, he stuck to the inside and gave him room. Oh, these guys are battling with the GR86 in between them.
This is overall race win for the lead. Daniel just able to make it around. I think that was John Ebersol on the Panda Spec red machine.
Yeah.
Oh boy, this is going to get down to the last few minutes, even few seconds here at the Watkins Glen full course, 3.3 miles, 11 turns here on Sam Studio Network Sports Car Endurance Series. Jason Landry's own.
4 tenths between P1 and P2 in the AM GT4.
It does not get better than this, boys and girls.
It does not. It does not. This is what we are here for. You know, we have 2.5 hours, but it all comes down to the last 5 minutes when these drivers leave it all out on every single inch of track position that they can. As that is some heavy traffic that Justin has to fight through there. One to the outside, one in front, both of them being slower. That takes some skill right there in one of these faster cars to handle through that.
And that was that Mad Sim race in the GR86, currently in P3. So he's trying to protect that right now. So he's not trying to do anything crazy. He's just letting these guys roll through quite quickly. But Daniel's got caught up a little bit behind that Jegs. I think it's a Jegs livery. I'm not sure. That white and
I think so, yeah.
So that cost him a little bit. He's now 1.1 seconds. A bit out of the draft, but he might be able to squeeze that back in.
Real quick, guys, before the end of this race, we see Ilya there in chats. I agree there completely with the team names. I'll flash these up on the screen real quick. This is GR86. I'm going to flash through these real quick because we're getting through the last few minutes here, but this is TCR. Feel free to pause the stream. Come back to where we are live. This is GT4M and then next GT4 Pro to kind of show you where they were within the standings. Sorry to cut you guys off, but I like to tend to the old YouTube chat there from time to time. It's just 2 minutes to go within the race here from Watkins Glen International.
So with that, what you just pulled up there was the 2 top GT4 cars. I don't think had a very good race today. So
no,
that's going to open up the points quite a bit.
Speaking of opening up the points, Daniel McConnell, this is our battle for the lead coming to the last minute of the race. The lap times are at 1:53 each, so Jason, correct me if I'm wrong, but we should be coming to the white flag lap, and Daniel McConnell, he'll have about, from this point on in the race, I know there's 11 turns, but you're really only going to have about 5 or 6 chances at making a pass.
Your passing points are really the S's,
yep,
the outer loop, and maybe the heel, and 9 and 10 if you really try to force it, but you really don't have many passing opportunities here. So they're gonna really have to play it smart and choose their opportunity wisely when it comes to it.
White flag is out. Last lap here at Watkins Glen International Raceway. Who will win this thing overall? Does Justin Bragan or his teammates up here in the booth, does he take this win away? Last time by coming up and through the S's. Oh my
goodness,
goodness,
that gap
boys.
close. Here comes Daniel. He's got right in that draft and he is locked in.
Daniel McConnell there in the slipstream, coming to the bus stop. Nick, take us away.
You see them getting close. They're coming up and through. They just exit the X's. They're on the back straight here, looking for the bus stop right now. They're gonna make the the right into the bus stop, now into the left, rounding out to the.
Gonna make it stick. This is only a couple more chances for Daniel McConnell.
They're in the chute right now. It's not going to be much longer here as they're entering the boot from the chute, going into the toe. They hit the left-hander, looking for that right-hander in just a few seconds. As they come down, they do not have much more time left, as now it's dropped to about 300ths of a second, but there's not much time. Oof! It's getting onto those brakes, getting that car rotated around.
My goodness.
Steady there. They are right on that bumper once again, coming down from the toe to the heel. The bottom, the boot is here. This is your moment. This is your opportunity. You see them swing to the inside saying, no, that is not enough. Show me this. be it. Daniel may have lost their one opportunity that they had. Race for themselves. Justin Bragan holding steady with a superior fuel strategy. Out 1 to 2 laps over everybody else.
Oh
Down
my
those
gosh.
pit stop times. And ladies and gentlemen, as we enter the
Oh my
11th turn, they
gosh.
swing around that other slower
Justin!
Porsche, and that is going to be it.
Justin
Ladies and gentlemen,
Bragan!
the front finish straight means that Justin Bragan is going to take the checkered
What a
flag
drive.
just in front of Daniel McConnell.
And look at that gap with TCR, 0.2. Let's get on to that gap. Here they are
Congratulations,
fighting.
Justin. Here is our battle for TCR. Jason, take it away.
Oh, I'm not. I can't do this good job as Nick.
You got it
Let's
here,
give it
man.
to him. So they're coming into the boot section now. It's going to be hard for Mike to really close that gap. He's going to have to try something maybe down into, I think it's turn 8, the heel. It's going to be really tricky this corner just to try to get it tucked in nicely. And I would try to get as close as possible and try to get that exit. But it looks like David Bauer's got a really good exit. It's going to be hard for Mike to do something. He's going to have to try to do a Hail Mary here. Let's see if he can get any closer.
I think there's too much distance between them. It's going to be a late break. They're going for it, but there's
They're
not enough.
closer
there's
than
not
that
enough
battle
room.
was for GT4. This will be about 3 more chances back here for Mike to make a move on David Bauer. About 2 car lengths separate the 2 TCRs. Hyundai versus Hyundai. David Bauer versus Mike. 2 chances. Oh, it's all on David just to hit this last turn, turn number 11.
And he nailed it. I don't think he's got a chance here. Mike is...
That's it, yep.
David just did not make any mistakes that last lap, and he secured that win with not being able to get... Mike couldn't get through in the bus stop, and I think that was his only moment, really, because David did not make any mistakes after that.
As for GT4 AM, Aaron Kushner will take that. Felipe will take that win. Our first drive. No, am I wrong again? I am. Excuse me.
Yeah,
Braden. Excuse me.
Braden has taken the lead for
Yep,
the M
there you
class,
go.
and Adam was just behind him. It was a close battle there as well. Unfortunately, there was too much going on to be able to see it, but Braden pulls off the win for AM. So congrats, Braden. That was very well done.
As we will get the top 3 drivers of each class interviewed here on SSN Drivers. If you are listening, be sure to make your way down to the SRN driver interview waiting room. We're going to thank our sponsors real quick. Going to hit some commercials, and, well, there we go. Congratulations, Braden there in the GT4 AM class. Stick with us here on Sam Studio Network. We will be right back.
Your commercials aren't playing.
Welcome back to Watkins Glen Raceway, where we have our winner, Andrew J. Sharp, the winner of the Toyota GR86 class in that number 484. Andrew, do you have a copy?
Yeah, I copy.
Oh my goodness gracious. What was a 2-hour, 40-minute race went by in what just felt like a quick 30-minute little sprint. Walk us through your strategy and how you ended up P1 today in Toyota GR86.
Yeah, honestly, my pace in the first stint was terrible. Raymond was absolutely cooking. I don't know how he was able to do that with the tires. I came in at the safety car and my left front was at 25%. And after that, I was like, all right, definitely need fresh tires. And that obviously came in to help at the end, but just an unfortunate incident took Damon out. And honestly, that team deserved the win today. So fortunate to end up on the lucky side of it today, but definitely unfortunate for their team.
Well, thank you so much, Andrew, for kind of giving us your kind of insights of the race as well as your teammates. Is there anybody who makes this possible for you to come out and race with us tonight, whether sponsors or family, etc.?
Yeah, Dave Carroll Engineering. His setups have been great for us all year. I know this is a fixed setup, but definitely want to shout him out, and the rest of the Rapid Theft Esports team has been great support in this season. So another good result, but obviously still some things to figure out pace-wise. So keep moving forward.
Alrighty, thank you, Andrew, for joining us, and we're going to move up to P3 overall as well as Class Andrew Trickett. Andrew, do you have a copy with us?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Alrighty, Andrew, walk us through your strategy here today. The highest running Canadian driver. Nice run for you here tonight in the Mercedes GT4. What was it like battling the tough track of Watkins Glen International?
It was a pretty tough battle the entire race. All 2 hours and 40 minutes of it, we were pretty much nose to tail. There was some sort of battle going on. Didn't really go into this with any strategy, just to keep it clean and try to get through the field and capitalize where I could. So yeah, worked out pretty well. Fun race.
That was a fun race indeed. I mean, I couldn't imagine how sweaty you are in the cockpit of the car. Some people, they may not realize at home just how intense this is, both physically and mentally. Regardlessly, is there anybody that you'd like to shout out and thank for tonight?
Well, just the guys who set this all up. Jason, big thank you to him and his group of guys. They do a fantastic job putting this league together. And obviously you guys for putting together a good show. So thank you guys very much.
Well, thank you so much, Andrew. That means the world to us. And we're, I think I'm going to let Nick move on to the next driver here tonight. I think it's Justin, but we'll get to that here in just a second. Regardless, Andrew, thank you once again for taking the time, and congratulations on your third place finish, both overall as well as in class.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Alrighty, I'm going to give this next one to Mr. Nicholas Hall himself. Who are we moving to here? Well, I'll let you choose, Nick.
You pick. You have the lineups in front of you.
All right,
I think there's only
minute.
one that we should pick. I think there's only one right now that we should talk to, and I think that's the winner overall.
I
and
was
my
gonna
teammate.
say.
I'm extremely proud. Go for
Mr.
it.
Justin Bragdon. Nick, I'll let you have it with him here, but first of all, congratulations, Justin and Jason yourselves.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, I mean, congratulations once again. What a race. The big thing looming over all of us, the fuel strategy. Talk to us about how that fuel strategy worked out. I saw you were going 1 to 2 laps above, longer than anybody else in your class. So how does that work out? What were you doing to allow yourself to get that kind of fuel efficiency out of your car?
Yeah, so I think the BMW naturally has a little bit better of a fuel issue or fuel usage than the rest of the cars, but coming up to a turn, I would just let off the gas and let the other people in front of me fight, and if something happens, then I take advantage. If not, then I just sit back and wait, and I'll let off the accelerator the next turn, and then if I feel like I need to move past somebody, then I'll do what I need to do. But in terms of like being aggressive, I think the 2 hour 40-minute race, I think it's I've always been pretty good with fuel saving. So whenever we have these longer races, it's always, all right, qualified, do your job qualifying, and then take it from there. And then obviously the race pace is going to be different than qualifying, and then your practice laps are going to be different just because of the adrenaline going through. But I just kind of sit back and wait for things to happen, and then if something happens, something happens.
Oh, absolutely. You did a beautiful job of that evening. Congratulations once again. Do you have anybody shout out that allows you to continue racing? Sponsors, family, friends, anybody out there?
Yeah, I would think thank my girlfriend. She, puts up with me during this time. I got to set aside like 3 or 4 hours to get some practice in and do the race. So thank you for her, because I know it takes time away from her. And then also my teammates over at Middle of the Pack Racing and Jason, and for setting this whole thing up. So I think it's a good race, and good to get our names out there and see what's going on.
Justin, I'd just like to say, I think you just might have retired me. I mean,
Oh no.
we've been trying to race the first 2 races, and things haven't quite gone our way. But
Yeah.
as soon as I step out of the car, you've got this down pat, man. That was a beautiful race. Well done.
Well, no, I can't say that. I think you should still race, but I had my issues at Daytona when somebody came in front, somebody crashed in front of me. I just had nowhere to go. So it's always luck of the draw, and sometimes it's good to be aggressive, sometimes it's good to sit back. But no, I think you should continue to race with me, because I think this was going to be very fun rest of the year.
Yeah, absolutely. As soon as my hip issue is better there, I'll jump back in the car for sure.
For sure.
Alrighty, moving on to P2 and GT4, Mr. Texas Speed. Hi, that's a familiar name. Daniel McConnell. You got a copy there. This is Sean Stam up in the booth. Oh no.
Daniel, you're currently muted. I don't know if you can
Yeah.
unmute yourself.
Man, that was a setup all for nothing. We'll see if Daniel comes back in just a second or what. We got, let's see, email. Oh, Strovitz in my Discord chat before you guys and YouTube go. Email esports@asncanada.ca for a full year of iRacing for, oh my goodness, only $10. Was watching the stream and saw the 40% off. That is $10 for a year of iRacing. Oh my, that is the best quote I have ever seen.
That is a really good deal.
Yeah, Nick, there you go, buddy. Alrighty, we're gonna give Daniel McConnell, as well as any other driver, just a bit more time to get with us up here in the booth. We're gonna run through a few more ads that make this all possible. Jason, of course, appreciate you joining us, and feel free to stick around the last few minutes. We're gonna take a quick break, be right back, give anybody a last chance to get interviewed. All right, we're going to cut back live to coverage here. Alrighty, welcome back here to Stam Studio Network, where this is Sean Stam, Nicholas Hall, and we got Jason up here, the league owner as well. Let's see if anybody is waiting to get a quick driver interview. I'm not seeing anybody in the waiting room, so all right. This is about the time where I say that we're gonna catch our plane ride on out of here. I appreciate everybody joining on in with us on Stam Studio Network. Oh, hey, there's Kyle. Hey, Kyle, appreciate you waving in. Oh, I bet you are beat, man. I do not blame you. That was cool. Watching everybody take to the track here tonight. Apologies for the slight technical difficulties, but we got it taken care of, and it maybe just adds a little bit of character. I don't know. My name is Sean Stam, Jason Landry, Nicholas Hall. If you guys have anything else you'd like to add before we get to the airport, get TSA searched out the old ass, Appreciate you guys.
It's so true. No, it's great time being up here, Jason. Thanks for hopping up in here with. Always good to have the input of somebody who knows what's going on more than just us up in the commentary booth. And hope to be able to do it again.
Thank you, Get Some
Yeah.
Jay. First of all,
Yeah, absolutely. It was super fun to be up in here. I'm a little disappointed we didn't get to talk to Daniel, as I said during the break there, but it would have been nice to get his input on how his race went, because he started from far back and he stormed to the front. I think at some point I even called him. I'm like, watch out, he might win this thing. So disappointed we couldn't talk to him. I'm sure Matt's best.
His PC crashed. He just messaged me.
Okay. But I'm sure Matt Best, his teammate, is pretty thrilled with that. These guys had the pace today, and congrats to those two.
Congrats to Daniel McConnell, the top 3 of every class, as well as everybody racing tonight. Jason Landry, this has been a blast. Appreciate you guys having us on board. Get Some Jay there in the YouTube chat. Appreciate you keeping us engaged all throughout. This has been Sean Stam, Nicholas Hall, Jason Landry, coming at you live from Stam Studio Network. Until next time, I believe at Virginia International Raceway. You guys take care and have a great rest of your night.